And there we go, there we go. Now we are live. We just started live. 5 minutes in, we noticed that no one was watching, even though it said it was live, it wasn't live. So then everything starts over. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, LVE tribe, most esteemed judges, and everyone else accompanying us. On this rather precious day of Shabbat, cold with a precious sun that is heating up, precious morning of Shabbat, today being the 15th day of Kislev, the ninth month of the year 5994 from creation. Today corresponds to this date to the 6th of December of the year 2025, in which we shall study another chapter of Wisdom and Discipline, part 44. To begin, I'd like to present these precious gifts from the Martinez lineage. This is a little car that is very cute, very precious, with a Christmas tree and little Christmas fruit. Can't remember what it's called. What's it called? We learned last year. How are these little things? What are they called? I forgot. We forgot. We see those here in California also. It's got a little handle there. Of course, it's all just a little prop, and it's got little lights, and we turn them off right there. They're on and off. It's a precious little car. We'll place it here. There's a little tree right there, so we see it cute. And they also gifted us this dog that's so cute, and it does this.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring for you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us a figgy pudding. Now bring us a figgy pudding. Now bring us a figgy pudding and bring it right here. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Very good. It's a special part. This cute dog here, very cute dog. Where can I place him so you can see him? Good. And let's see if it covers the scene too much here. Wow. Give or take. Covers the mic. There you go. Well, we're going to leave it here today. The main actor in these precious flowers, which is actually a plant. It's a live cactus which should not die unless if we water it, and if it doesn't get taken by the bugs and all the I mean, it's rather spectacular. This cactus it's precious. It is actually very cute. It is live. It's a real plant. And this is thanks to the Roblero lineage. We'll place it here so that we can see it very cute here, bringing color to this Christmas with the dog and everything. There you go. And then if anything happens, I'll move it a little bit. Let's place this here. We can see the flowers good here. I love this one, El Diego, because we play tomorrow against Racing. What a difficult game tomorrow against Racing. We have the flat earth here, which we have to see it. We have the dog here that I can move. We can move it a little bit right there. And we can place the flat earth here. And we can see everything there. You covered El Diego. Do we see El Diego there? Where are you? It's in here. Oh, right. He's right here. Okay. You can barely see El Diego. There it is. Very well. Okay, let us congratulate those that have had a birthday during this week, which are Jesse Ogando, the Dominican Republic, Aura Celina Juarez, Nicaragua, Ada Soto Avila, Chile, Alexander Cordero, the Dominican Republic, Araceli Rodriguez, Mexico, Paz Esperanza Zambrano, Argentina, Jessica Patricia Ortiz Calderon, Colombia, Marilyn Pérez, the US of A. Erika Juana Maria Gutierrez, Guatemala. Gilbany Sarali Calderon, the Dominican Republic. Said Javier Miranda Aguilera, El Salvador. To each and every one of you, a great big hug on behalf of all of us. Many congratulations, many blessings in May. It'd be one of your last birthdays under this government of Babylon, under this system. That is what our wish is. On behalf of all of the Eternal Truth, a very happy birthday for you. Like I told you, Boca plays tomorrow and plays with a very difficult game. The Racing Club of Avellaneda. It's a team that actually they're our sons, because I don't know, I think we're 30 games over them. That doesn't matter. It's a difficult game. They play very well. They have a very warrior spirit. Their coach is Costas, which is fan of the club. He really makes his players to want to win, to have that warrior spirit. It's a team that doesn't play soccer well in the way like Argentino Juniors played against us. A very difficult game the other day. They dominated the whole midfield. Tiki-taka. We couldn't even see the ball, like 80%. They had it, but it's part of playing soccer. We don't want to give the ball back to the rival, and since they don't know how to score, the one that scores the goal wins. If you score, you win. That's what happened. Even if we gave them the ball, we went in the counterattack. Argentino Juniors plays very well. That's their style of game that Argentino Juniors has. That's why they dominated our ball. I don't like for them to play in our face, dominating the ball, but oh well, that is how Ubeda, our coach, decided. But Racing Club, it's a different game. It's a team that doesn't play like tiki-taka, like take it, give it back. No, they don't play like that. They play vertical. So from below, they give it to the defenders, and then maybe midfield, and then they kick forward. That is how Racing plays, like crazy, just attacking like crazy. It's a team that can score, or they can be scored on like really bad. They don't play defense, so then we have to be very much in attention to cut their vertical game. We have to cut it off, and we have to intercept that, and have us play by touching the ball. Because Racing doesn't defend very well. It's going to be a huge game. I hope we win. I hope we become champions. Hope nobody misses out the game tomorrow at 2 p.m. my time. We'll be playing against Racing. Very well. Remember, we've got a free service for Angelina for all those that are going through some situation that is reflected in your body. You can call her, you can consult with her, you can write to her, and she'll call you and make an appointment for you. It's both for those from the Eternal Truth and for those that are not. Those who are willing to hear and those who would like to understand that there's a different way of what happens in our organism. Shemah Israel, YHWH Eloheinu, YHWH Ekhad. Hear Israel, Yahweh our Elohim. Yahweh is one alone, only one being, one sole creator, one sole designer. Based on this, the Bible is starting to be comprehended. Is the key that opens the Bible. If you don't have this key understood, you will never be able to open the Bible, and you'll eat the whole cover that's in the Bible, because the Bible says, the Elohim says in Proverbs 25:2, it is the glory of Elohim to conceal the word. The word is of God, that we call it is concealed. Yet the glory of the king is to search out the word. That king is the Mashiach, which can go past the cover in which everyone gets stuck. Today we shall get up to date with the questions. Finally, I have many questions, but we'll be up to date with them. Either way, I love for you to still send them in. I want you to send more questions in. It's good for all of us for these questions because, I tell you again, because even if we're studying the book of wisdom by excellence in the Bible, which is the book of Proverbs, this study is not based in Proverbs. It is based in something above, something higher. It is our own wisdom. It is wisdom and discipline, not that of Solomon. It is wisdom and discipline of LVE. We are studying the book of Proverbs. We can also study other things. We can develop other things like we've developed in these 43 subjects prior. We talk about so many things, but we'll continue to advance also in the book of Proverbs. I have many things to tell you about Solomon, many things which are excellent and some others that are not so excellent per se. But we'll study that in the development of the book of Proverbs, along with other things. Very well. So then you're all invited to ask me everything you want to ask me, and anything that I may answer, I will answer. Proverbs 1:2, the New Living Translation. The purpose of the Proverbs is to teach wisdom and discipline, and to help the people to understand the intelligence of the wise. Not just is the purpose of the Proverbs, of the book of Proverbs, is it referring to the Proverbs of Solomon, just any proverb, which is the sayings of the wise. The purpose is to teach wisdom and discipline, and to help the people to comprehend the intelligence of the wise. For good or for bad, good or bad, the wise, of which there are many categories within the wise which have existed on this earth, by saying one of their sayings or proverbs, much wisdom can be found, and to comprehend the way that they think. Sometimes, hold on, let me I had the Miss Justice here. It was wrong. It was to my back. It was bothering me. Okay, there we go. By teaching the Proverbs, the intention is to make you see how a wise man thinks, because or else a wise man could never give to know his way of thinking. So then by writing the Proverbs, the wise man, what he's doing is he's saying and telling you, look, this is my way of seeing things, for good or for bad. Not all the wise say pure wisdom. They can say things that are wrong. It is in us to judge what is right and what helps us and what doesn't. And we ourselves become wise, and we ourselves pronounce certain things to help other people, and that's the way it is. So then the purpose of the Proverbs is to teach wisdom and discipline, and to help the people to comprehend the intelligence of the wise. Very well. We start with question number 1. I've told you what happened recently. I started to speak. I thought everything was okay. I was using the program that we used to broadcast. It said it was live and it was okay, until Leslie told me no one's watching you. So then that's when I said, oh, there's a problem. I had to stop the transmission, then it wasn't going anywhere, delete the video from YouTube, and do everything over. So then that's what happened. I mean, it's kind of odd, a little error like that. There's always errors, but good thing is to repair. Okay, question number 1. Says, hello, Chris. Reflecting one night, this doubt came up. At what age should two people in a couple have as a difference for an amorous relationship? As it turns out, I've heard that the psychologists say that a man is 5 years younger in maturity than the woman. Therefore, it is acceptable if a man is older than his wife for 5 years. But there are things that make me doubt. So then I want to know your opinion. What is the limit of age that is acceptable or correct of a person with their partner? Well, they say that it is taught that the woman is developed a little bit before the man. Not in all the cases, but let's suppose that in the best of the cases, it's that way that the woman achieves maturity that is sooner than men. But that is up to a certain point, because it's not that it's always that women are always more maturity, but in the stages of growing up, talking about between 20 and 25 years old, it's as if things get paired up. The men catch up. I wouldn't pay attention to that part. We're talking about they're very young when the woman is more mature. From childhood and puberty, women are more ahead than men in that. But then after that, the men catch up, and they're both in the maturity. Now, I will not be a judge of the ages. I can't be a judge of that. If I were to give rules here, then I would always I'd be establishing a Torah of what's correct and what's not. In my case, I could say that what I looked for and what pleases me, and also what pleased my beautiful wife, is that we're of the same age. We're exactly of the same age. So then, that is what I looked for, that is what she looked for, and that is what worked exactly for us. Being very young, we started dating at 20 years old, and at 21 exactly, we got married. Now, that is not the rule. I don't know what experience that is so different and varied are in the world. I know that there are many different experiences, but different variations. And in love, what interests is a match of companionism, of getting along, of things getting along, and common goals, feeling accompanied, protection also, both physical, economical, and emotional stability. Maybe there's a difference in age. Maybe men are older, maybe the woman's older. I've seen couples of women of 8 and 9 years older than the men that get along excellent. There have been beautiful matrimonies where the woman is older, and also backwards where the man is older. So then I really cannot place a rule. I can't place a rule in place, because I would be limiting what is right and wrong. Of course, I would see ridiculous for a 70-year-old man to get married with a 20-year-old. I see that as ridiculous. My mind criticizes that. That old man got a young girl, but if they both were to explain to me, they said, hey, you're misjudging us, because it's not that there's love between us like it could be from at a similar age, but rather I'm looking for stability economically. He promises me that he will give me a house, he'll leave me certain money, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a young man that has to be struggling. I want something that satisfies my life in that aspect, and I have no problem in living and giving him the years that he has left, being with him, taking care of him, giving him affection and pleasure. And the guy says, look, I'm like maybe not paying, but in one way or another, I'm rewarding that difference in the ages, because I'm going to give her a house, I'm going to give her well-being, an economy that she accepts, and we're fine. So then who am I to say, no, what a degenerate? No. Every couple is a different world. Always in this time in which we live, we have divorce. It's not that they get together, they get married, and then you can't get divorced until death do you part. No, there's divorce. So then, if things aren't the way they were planned, if they aren't the way they look, then you have the option of divorce. So that I'm not somebody that will criticize even couples that are extremely separated in age difference. My mind, since I have been trained and brought up with beliefs that there is a certain range, my normal mind, which is not a rule, but my mind says there's a range. Till 20 maximum, it's acceptable. Up to 20 years different. Like a 50-year-old with a 30-year-old, you say, well, no, the man is 40. With a 20-year-old, you don't see that too well. 35 and 15, you don't see that too well, but as the age goes on, you start to see it better. But in my mind, it's not a rule, but a maximum margin of 20 years of difference. My mind sees it as not ideal. For me, ideal is the same age, but that's for me. It's not a rule, but that's for me. What's ideal is the same age, a very paired up age, up to 5 years difference. After 10 years, there's a difference. There's already a difference. Then afterwards, every year later, but that no, I've decided not to judge, not to criticize anyone. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, that's fine. The 30-year-old guy says, look, I fell in love with this 80-year-old woman. That's fine. What do you want me to? He needs a mom, a grandma. I don't know what he needs in his life. And if that works for him, then that's fine. Who are we to say? You're a degenerate? No, no, no. You like the 80 years old? I love her. I love her. I don't know. He doesn't even have to explain to me. I'm telling you whatever, because in my mind, it has to come out of the box that I was taught that things have to be that way. Because if they're not that way, it's a sin, it's a degeneration. We're beings, human beings that are eternal. From the moment we start to think about eternity, then in the earth afterwards, the friendships or not matrimonies, because couples will be formed clearly. The difference of an age is not going to be 10, 20 years. It could be a lot more, 100, 200 years old, 300. What do we know? We don't know. So then I'm opening my mind. I'm not closing it, because I don't want to be some religious bigot saying this is wrong. More than 5 years old different, it's a degenerate. No, none whatsoever. Now, is it difficult? It's difficult. Why is it difficult? Because I have beliefs, and those beliefs are here within. They've made grooves in my mind. And people are like, oh, that old man, he's looking for young ones, or that young guy looking for a grandma. So then I have beliefs. But if I see it very much from above, saying that our soul is without a gender, I firmly believe that our soul is genderless. The body has the gender. So then I open the possibilities, I open the liberty. If it works, that's fine. If it doesn't work, that's fine. It is to experience in this world. That's what I'm saying. So then I'm sick and tired of the rules. Like also of the rules of if they're not heterosexual, it's completely degenerate. No, not for me anymore. Not anymore. So then all the gays that want to come to the eternal truth, gays, lesbians, trans, whatever you want. There's not going to be a difference with me. There's no difference, just like that. Although maybe it may hurt some of your stomachs because you haven't processed that information. You still have the beliefs that we have received since we were little in the religion and even in the culture. Because look, in the culture, taking that religion out, it was horrible in Argentina where I was brought up to see the gays, for example. It was very frowned upon. It was shame to be gay. It's not that we were aggressive against the gays, but they taught us that it was shameful. It was shameful. Those experiences are within us. They're there. They've made their groove. It's made its groove. And that's how we live our lives. That God prohibits it and this and that and here and there. But if we're not able to open our way of thinking, then we're not going to be able to guide a world that's very diverse, very diverse. So then Remember, my way of seeing things, which I've learned in this experience of life, you're all welcome here. You're all welcome here. There's no difference with me, nor is there criticism. I want that to be left very clear for all those who wish to judge the world. If there is kind of like a homophobia in your mind still, if you're a bit homophobic in your mind, you won't be good judges. Because somebody that's homophobic will judge homosexuality as something degenerate and sinful. And I know that many of you, it's still difficult. It's very difficult. You can't process it. Imagine if it would, many things would depend upon you having authority over those people. How would you act? Like those Christians that had a cake store and a gay couple came and they wanted two men kissing instead of a man and woman. So then they said no. So then this couple sued them. Remember, it was years ago, and they won the judgment. They had to pay a terrible fine or they would shut down business. There's something of that in us. There's a rejection. You may say it's normal. No, nothing's normal. It's beliefs. It's all beliefs. It's all beliefs. You're human beings. There are two genders, it is clear, male and female. And you don't have to just accept love or a relationship between male and female. Under my point of view, it's all acceptable. That's the way I say it, and I want to let that very clear, and I want you to start to chew that in your mind if you intend to be a judge of the world. Very well. So then, about the ages, same thing. Second question. Hello, Christian. I have a question that's a bit long. I hope you can comprehend the information and tell me your opinion about it. Thank you for answering my questions. Wisdom changes me and it evolves as a person. I love you a lot. Greetings to Leslie, Angeline, and Brian. Oxidation. It is when an oxygen molecule is unified to a substance. Right? Oxidation is when a molecule, which we'll call it that, like that, of oxygen unifies to something else and it oxidizes it. It comes from oxygen. Oxidation from oxygen. Very well. Forming water plus carbon dioxide plus heat. For example, when you peel an apple or you open it, its substance is exposed to the oxygen outside, making it to oxidize more speedily. In other words, getting rotten. No, oxidizing is not rotting. Rotting is decomposing. It is changing. The chemical is... The chemics are changing. The chemistry is changing. If I say rotting and oxidizing, it's not the same thing. Not in the very least. Not in the very least. One thing has nothing to do with the other. It can go rotten without oxygen. Exactly. So then I stopped to reflect. But we breathe oxygen, right? Because oxygen is life. You're being confused that oxygenation is harmful. No, it's not harmful. It changes certain things. I can't give a class about this because I would have to study it to give a class. But oxygen, we use it to live. We absorb it with our lungs. We take it to the blood. And that blood takes it to the cells. And that uses it like fuel. Uses oxygen like fuel to burn things, to take things, to make things travel from one place to another. We're not being oxidizing. We're not dying. He says, I was reflecting. But we reflect oxygen. I investigated a bit about oxidation, and it says that by reading oxygen, it makes contact with our cells, and that contact with the years oxidizes them, killing us, in other words, without any escape. Because if we would not breathe oxygen, we would die. This information left me thinking in my brain. Is it another technique of God's to kill us aside from the emotions? In the end of it all, God is science also. It's just that many lies have been applied to him. Is that true or false? I hope you can answer my doubts. Christian, this question of chemistry left me thinking. You're seeing it very much reduced to everything. The problem with the cells is not that they oxidize, but they grow old. The cells grow old. That is the problem. There are plants that use oxygen and carbon dioxide and they can live for thousands of years. The problem is not that the oxygen oxidizes us. No, we need oxygen. What we don't need is the process of growing old. That is what we don't need. So then I understand that it made you think that the problem of oxidation, no, the problem is not oxidation. Growing old is the problem. Very well. Question number 3. Hello, Christian. I have a question about the animals. The animals that are in the zoo, away from their natural habitat for an exhibition of the human beings, or those that are in slaughterhouses and are assassinated or mistreated and living in conditions in which they shouldn't be in the future, will there be rights for the animals in the zoo or a better treatment for those that are in slaughterhouses? Because all I know is the consumption of meat will continue to exist. Okay, where did you get all I know? Why are you so sure? Why do you say all I know that it'll continue to exist? Is because you say so or you think I said it? I cannot conceive in my mind to live in a world in which we shall create for there to continue to exist slaughterhouses that will have to be millions of animals because there will be billions of people. So then I cannot conceive in my mind to have to bring up animals, have cattle so that all the billions of human beings can eat. Also, I do not conceive that everyone can bring up an animal to kill later to eat it. I believe that in the upcoming world we're not going to consume animals. That is what I believe. We're not going to consume animals. Now, we can design tissues in fleshes that are synthetic, like unto those that we consume today of the meat without being a living being or having to kill it. Can we achieve it? Well, it's being achieved already from copies, like a 3D copy of cells that have been taken away from animals in the copies, and with the components taken out of nature, fibers and proteins, it's created a very similar fiber that imitates the flavor of meat. Is there, do I see that as something good? I see that as excellent, so as to not have to kill animals to eat. It's excellent. Now, technology will advance even more. So then, technologically speaking, we'll be able to create something or even some sort of tree that gives us a substance like unto meat, if that is what we want actually. Because maybe we don't even want that. But what I do know is that I cannot conceive in my mind to bring up cattle to kill them or sheep to kill them. It could be, and I have my doubts, that we can fish. I don't like fish, but that we can fish. That no, I have much doubts about that. Even if the Bible in Isaiah or in Jeremiah says that it says that the fishermen will be there, it could be something pretty much symbolic, and I also don't care what the Bible says. It'll be our kingdom. It'll be our kingdom. You have to understand that very clearly. It'll be our kingdom. And I believe that. I cannot see the need,
ni que hagamos una sociedad
nor that we make a flesh-eating society. And if we don't eat meat, we don't eat meat. You know how many years I've lived without eating meat? A whole bunch. And well, that can be surpassed, and we move on to something else. But to be killing animals and to feed the animals with those animals and to have a whole market of the animals, I see that as absolutely non-existent in the new kingdom. So then what you say that you assure that you'll continue to eat, I do not assure it. In fact, I deny it, the consumption of meat. And the other things is, I don't see the need for a zoo if the animals are going to be inoffensive for human beings. They're not going to be afraid of human beings. Then you'll be able to visit them wherever they live. Aside from the fact that you'll be able to have them. Another type of animals that you won't be able to have. Maybe at home, some lion will visit you, other types of animals. Is that possible? Completely possible. Completely it will be possible. I see a type of government that or a kingdom like that. Okay. So then no zoos or slaughterhouses, nor places for the chickens. Question number 4. My question is as follows. Why do we have long hair? To have long hair is a characteristic of the kings and kings. My definition is as follows, and I understand that this way I have long hair because I feel different to the rest. It's a way of rebellion and to be against the system. Because just like we don't eat pork and we have the Shabbat as our day, and we take of the Bible certain good advices, that's why we use long hair. That is my reasons of having long hair. But then what comes to mind is the meaning of the freedom that we have, and for some, short hair is easier to keep well kept. It's a subject that we have debated with my lineage, and would like to understand things clearly. And what a better person to explain it to us than Silva. Let's go, Boca. The Holy Spirit that gives us life. Okay, the answer is as follows. In our awakening to this reality, and our rebellion for everything that they had deceived us with, then this began with a very clear message that we are not like unto the people told us that the Christians should be, for example. So then, in one way, I've taught you that man, it was good for man to leave his hair long. That happened ever since this ministry started. Ever since this ministry started, I've told you that I've always used short hair first. First of all, because I have very little hair, and the other because it was easier to just use the clippers. Set it in 3 or 4, sometimes 2, no, not 2, 3, 4 of those little clippers that have an adapter. I would use number 4, sometimes 5, and that's how I would always buzz my hair. It was like a military type of. It was easy for me to work that way. Just imagine to take care of longer hair if you work in different professions, like painting or all the rest, how the hair gets dirty. But if you have shorter hair, it's easier. And with the heat in the summer, it's easier to have short hair. It has lots of advantages. I've always used it that way. When I tried to give this subject, I felt the need sometime before, not sometime before, when I started to speak back in the year 2008. I was not able to speak because I felt the need of allowing my hair to grow for the first time in my life. For the first time in my entire life. And in my experience, it's as if I was being
para dar un
prepared
mensaje
to give a
diferente.
different message.
Ahora, eso
Now,
significa
does
que
that
cuando me
mean,
creció el
and
pelo,
when the hair
recién empecé,
grew,
cuando me
that's when I
creció el pelo,
barely
lo
started
pude
and I
agarrar
was
como
able
una
to
colita, el poco pelo que
grab it
tenía,
in the back like a
ahí grabé
ponytail.
mi primer
That's
tema.
when I recorded my
Y
first
lo grabé con
video.
corbata y salió
It was with a
con
tie,
una distorsión electrónica.
and it was with such an electronic distortion that's absolutely weird that I've never seen, that I never
Le saqué
again
la
saw.
corbata y se grabó perfecto.
I took out the tie and it
Arrancó
was
con varias
recorded
cosas.
excellently.
La primera es,
So
por
it
primera
started
vez
with many
en
things.
mi
First of all, for the
historia,
first time in my
siendo
history,
heavy metal
being
de
a heavy metal
corazón,
by heart,
tenía el pelo largo.
I had long hair.
Y la segunda cosa es,
The second thing is,
me puse a hablar sin
I
una
started to
corbata.
speak without a tie.
Con el tiempo lo fui
With time,
comprendiendo,
I started to
estos
comprehend
símbolos,
these
fui comprendiendo
symbols,
que iba a
start
ser
to
un
comprehend them,
mensaje
that it was going to be a different
diferente,
message,
un
disruptive,
mensaje
a
divisor,
message that would be dividing,
un mensaje de rebeldía
a
a lo
message of
establecido. Ahora, eso
rebellion
significa que
towards
tú
what's
tienes que tener
established.
el
Does that
cabello
mean that you
largo.
have to
Y al
have long hair?
principio
At first,
yo les
I
dije,
told
está
you
buenísimo que
it'd
tengan
be
el
great
cabello
that you have
largo,
long hair.
les da libertad,
It gives you
los
freedom.
indios, no sé de qué tribu,
The Indians of whatever
podían
tribe
encontrar
were
las
able to
cosas
find things
y tener una sensibilidad
and
especial
have a
porque el cabello
special
largo son como
sensibility
antenas.
because long hair is like antenna and all the rest, whatever.
No importa.
Doesn't matter.
Yo les
I
enseñé
taught you
a ustedes que sería bueno
that it
que
would be
tengan
good
cabello
that you have long hair.
Cuando
Now, when
fuimos avanzando
we
este
started to
mensaje,
advance in this message,
comencé a
and I
entender
started to
que no hay
understand
nada más hermoso
that there's
que
nothing more
la
beautiful than
libertad de
freedom
elección.
of choice.
Comprendí que
I understood that
en el cabello ustedes tienen que elegir.
you have to choose when it's about the hair.
Está bien que yo les
It's
diga
not
que
good for
tienen
me
que
to
llevar el
tell you
cabello
have to
largo.
have long hair.
No,
No,
llévenlo como ustedes quieran.
wear it however you want.
Si lo quieren un día rapar,
You
se lo
want to
rapan.
shave
Si
it
lo
one
quieren
day?
pintar
Shave
de
it.
azul
You
y
want to
oro,
paint it in blue and
lo
gold?
pueden pintar de azul
You
y
can
oro. Si lo quieren
paint,
pintar
dye
de
it
blanco y
in
rojo, ese está prohibido terminantemente.
white and red. It would be completely prohibited. Completely prohibited. I'm sorry, it's prohibited.
Está prohibido
It's prohibited.
terminantemente pintárselo blanco una línea roja, no, eso
With
no
a red
es
line,
nada.
that would be no,
Ni
none
los que
whatsoever. Not
nacieron
even those who were
en
born
Perú, que después se
in
hicieron
Peru that
argentinos,
later
nada.
became Argentines. Not even
Cabello
them. No,
blanco
nothing.
con una línea roja
White hair
no
with
va,
a red
está prohibido
line is
terminantemente en mi Torah.
determinately
Pero sacar
prohibited in my
¿cómo?
Torah. But pardon me,
Es pecado, pero
it's a sin.
mortal,
It's mortal sin.
mortal y muy
It's a mortal sin
castigado.
and very
Pero
much
sacando
punishable. But
eso,
taking that out,
eh, tienen los hombres la
the
completa
men have the
libertad
complete
de
liberty
usar el
of
pelo como
wearing their
ustedes
hair
se
however the
cante
fuck
la gana.
you want.
Teñido,
Dyed
como ustedes quieran.
however you want.
Yo no voy a poner ninguna
I'm not
regla,
gonna
porque
set any
ustedes
rules
que
here
las
because
mujeres
who
son
said that women
las únicas que
are the
tienen
only ones
derecho a
that have the
teñirse.
right to dye
No,
their
los
hair?
hombres
No,
también
men
tienen
also
derecho a
have the
teñirse.
right to dye
Hace
their,
unos años
their
atrás
hair.
se
Some
veía
years
mal.
ago, it was frowned upon.
Hace toda la vida mía se
My
vio
entire
mal que los
life,
hombres
it
se
was
pinten
frowned
los
upon
ojos.
for men to paint their nails, for
Rockero,
example.
heavy
The
metal,
heavy metal
que
rockers
más rockeros
and
empezaron
other
a
rockers
pintar.
started to dye
Y claro, yo
their
lo veía
nails, and
como
of course, I
raro,
would
con
see
esa
that as
pintada,
weird
no,
with their
raro.
black
Los
nails. It was very weird.
llamaban, mirá,
The people
estos
would say, "Oh, this
satanistas
is
con
these
uñas negras",
Satanists,"
o también medio
with
gay.
or kind of gay
Los hombres
too,
tienen derecho
either
a usar
Satanist
todo
or
lo que
gay.
las mujeres. Así, esa
Men
es
have all the right
esa.
to wear
Los
everything
hombres
that
que les guste pintarse las uñas,
women
se las
too.
pintar. Estoy diciendo que se las
So,
pinten. No,
am
no,
I
no
telling you
estoy
to
diciendo que
dye?
las
No, I'm not
pinten.
telling you to
Estoy
dye
diciendo
them.
que si
I'm
se
saying
ocurre
that
pintarlas,
if you
yo
want
no
to
le voy a
dye
decir
them, I'm not
nada.
going to tell you anything.
No le voy a decir,
I'm not going to tell you.
eso es de mujer.
That
No,
is
absolutamente
only
no.
for women. No,
Quiero
absolutely
que
not.
entiendan
I
lo que
want
es
you
la
to understand
libertad
what
de la
liberty of expression
del alma y
is
de
of the
nosotros
soul
como
and of us
personas.
as a person. I
No
will
voy a
not
poner
set a
reglas
rule
de lo que
about
usted
what you
debe lucir y
must
cómo
look
debe
like
lucir y qué
and
se
how you
puede
should
poner
look
y
like and
qué
what
no
you
se
can
puede
wear
poner.
and what you
Ya
cannot wear.
sufrimos
We've
mucho en
suffered
este
way too
mundo
much in this world
porque las mujeres no
with
pueden usar
how women
pantalones.
not being able to wear pants.
Que era una
Back then it was
vergüenza que
a
las
shame
mujeres
for women to
usaran
wear
pantalones.
pants.
Después se
Afterwards,
metieron los
the
pantalones
pants
en la cultura
went
femenina.
into the
Y las iglesias, como
feminine
las adventistas,
culture,
decían
and in the
en las
Adventist
cuales
churches, like
las
Ellen G.
mujeres
White would
no
say,
pueden usar pantalones.
women cannot wear
Entonces ella decía, pero están
pants.
permitidos los
But are the
pantalones en la
pants
mujer
allowed in
cuando hace
women
mucho frío,
when it's
se
very
usan
cold?
una
Oh, well,
falda
if you
arriba
use a skirt above, look how
Entonces estoy
ridiculous. I'm sick and
cansado
tired
de las
of the
normas que los
norms
seres
that
humanos
humans
nos ponen.
place upon us.
Estoy realmente
I'm really
cansado.
sick and
Después,
tired of it. Then
nosotros, yo
later,
sufrí, las
I
mujeres no
suffered
pueden
women cannot
pintarse.
dye
Las
their,
mujeres
the
cristianas
Christian
o
women or
adventistas
Adventists
no deben
must not dye
pintarse,
themselves.
porque eso es una
Because that is a
señal
sign
de
of
vanidad,
vanity.
y porque Pablo
And
y
because
Pedro
Paul and
dicen
Peter
que
say
la
that
mujer
women
no sea
to not be in all the stupid shit that those idiots say. Then we, or I, was brought up with a mom that I never saw her wear
en las uñas un color.
any dye in her nails with the years,
Y luchando con,
and
la
fighting,
verdad, superándose
surpassing a
un
bit
poquito más su mentalidad
her
cerrada, se
closed
empezó a
mind.
poner
She
un
started
poquito de
to
rubor
wear
acá.
a little
Y yo le decía, ay, te estás
a little
pintando, ¿qué sabes?
bit here, you know, like a little
Un
blush, and
poquito
said,
de
"Hey,
rubor
Jezebel,"
acá. Y
and
un
she said,
poquito
"No,
decía,
just
no,
a
porque
little,
son
no,
los
those are
colores
the natural
naturales
colors
de la
of the
mujer.
women."
Por ahí, a
Maybe
un protector de
some
uñas,
nail
protector de
protector
uñas, de paso le da un
to give it
brillito,
a little
pero
shine, but it's a protector
nada más
either
y
way to make him stronger.
siempre luchando
Always
para
fighting
que
for those
dirán
and see what they might
que
say.
no
No,
es
it's
un
not
esmalte, es un
a color, it's a
protector porque se
protector
me
because
quiebran las
the
uñas,
nails
con eso le ayudo
break
a
and I help them
crecer.
to grow
Entonces
that way.
buscando una
So we're always
pequeña
looking for a
cosita
little
para que no se
excuse
vea
for
tan
it to
mal,
not look
que
so
tengo los
bad
labios
that
más
my
secos, entonces
eyes,
me pongo un
my
poquitito de
lips are
color, que
kind
no
of
es color,
dry,
que no es un color,
and then I
entonces no
add some
tan
chapstick.
fuerte,
It's not
es
color,
para, aunque sea crema de
or
maní,
at
un
least some
poquitito que se
peanut
vea
butter,
así. Y así
and that
fue
is how
pasando de
it
no
went
llevar
from not
nada,
wearing anything.
estoy hablando
I'm
de mi
talking about my
mamá,
mom
mis
and my
hermanas,
sisters.
a empezar a
To
embellecerse
start
un
to beautify
poquito.
themselves a little bit, just a little bit, mind you.
Bueno,
Well,
después que salieron
after
las canas
the white
y
hairs came,
estando en
and
contra de
being
la
against
pintura y criticando a todas
dyeing
las
and
señoras que
criticizing
se
all the
que se
ladies that would
pintaban, a
dye
esas
themselves,
locas
all
que
those
se
crazy
pintaban el
ladies
pelo,
that dye their
así
hair,
eran
because
los
that is how the
fanáticos,
fanatic
veías una
Adventists
teñida decís,
were. They're like,
la
oh,
verdad,
that
quizá igual
cheap,
prosti, teñida igual prosti,
equal
así
to
decía.
prostitute
Decía
if she would
así,
dye her
en
hair.
ese
That is
ambiente yo me
that is
crié.
how I was brought up in.
Y los que se criaron en un
And
ambiente
those that were
parecido,
brought up in some
me van a
in
entender.
another environment
Si te
like unto
criaste
that,
en un ambiente un poquito menos
if it was a
religioso,
bit less religious,
nunca
then
lo
you've never seen what I've said.
Pero yo te lo digo desde
I
un
told
lugar
you from a
súper
hyper
religioso.
religious
Cansé de eso.
stance,
Porque me
and I'm
cansé
sick
de
and
las
tired of that. I'm sick and tired of the religions that rule your life. So then,
no quiero
I don't want to know
saber nada
anything
de eso.
about that. Nothing.
Nada. Si los hombres
If men
desean
wish to
pintarse
dye
las uñas,
their
tienen
nails,
todo el
they have
derecho,
all the
así
right
que
to do
si
so.
Ale
So then, if Ale
viene que viene
next
con las
Shabbat
uñas
wears
negras, yo no le voy a decir nada.
comes
Yo
with
quiero ver cómo te
his
quedan
nails
las
black,
uñas.
I'm not gonna tell him anything. I'm gonna say, let's
O
see
puedo decir,
your
"Oh,
nails.
cómo te queda".
Oh,
Tengo
that's
derecho a
cool.
decir,
Or I could
"Cómo
say,
te
I didn't
queda".
like the way it turned out.
Pero nada más que
No more
eso.
than that, though.
Nada
No
más
more
que
than
eso.
that.
No, jamás le voy
I'm
a
never
decir,
gonna say
"Lo que
what
estás
you're
haciendo
doing is
está mal".
wrong. No, absolutely
realmente
not.
no. Lo más mínimo,
Not
lo
in the very
mínimo
least.
es que tenemos
I
que
want you to
reinventarnos.
understand that we have to
Tenemos que
reinvent
salir
ourselves.
de
We
la
have to come out
formalidad
from the
cristiana que
Christian
nos
formalities that
enseñaron. Por eso les
they
digo,
taught us.
los
That's
chicos
what I'm telling
pueden
you.
usar aros,
The
pueden usar
boys
joyas,
can wear
las
earrings,
chicas pueden
jewels,
usar aros, joyas,
girls can wear
pinturas, los jóvenes
makeup,
por igual
and
también.
everything. The
Las
same thing.
jóvenes,
Both
los jóvenes y los les jóvenes.
youth
No
and
sé.
male and
Las
female
mezclas.
and the mixture.
Estoy
I'm just
jodido,
fucking with you.
estoy
I'm
jodido.
fucking with you.
Los les, vieron que está
You-
la,
you
lo
see
y
how
les,
it's he,
cuando no
she,
tienen, no
and
tienen
they
género,
when it's genderless.
le dan el le. Pero
But
ella, él
she
y ella.
and
Una pavada estupidez de lenguaje.
the pronouns.
Estoy jugando,
I'm just playing.
estoy
I'm
jugando.
just playing. I'm playing around.
Lo que estoy sí digo clarito.
What I'm saying very clearly is that
En la
in the eternal
verdad,
truth,
no en tu
not
forma
in
de
your
pensar.
way of thinking,
En la
in the eternal
verdad,
truth,
sos libre
you're
de
free to
pensar lo que
use
quieras.
whatever you want. Just like that.
Porque yo,
Because if I'm not able
de
to
aceptar la
accept
expresión
the
humana de belleza y libertad,
human expression of
entonces
beauty
no
and liberty,
soy
then I'm not
digno de gobernar un
worthy
mundo
of ruling a
lleno
world
de
that is
diversas
filled
formas.
with different ways of thinking.
Imagínense
Imagine
cuántas
how many
formas
ways
de
of thinking,
que nosotros
that
no
we would not
aceptaríamos
accept,
lo loco que tienen las personas que ya
or that
murieron.
we'd have to be crazy,
Otras culturas
or other cultures
estaríamos
would be
choqueados, porque depende
in
de quién te
shock
gobierna.
depending on who rules
Entonces, te va
you.
a aceptar una cosa
They'll
u
either
otra
accept
cosa.
one thing or another.
Estoy
No, I am
cansado ya
already
de
sick
las
and tired of the
normas,
norms,
de las
of the
leyes
established
establecidas
laws
del
of
ser humano.
human beings. I am
Absolutamente
absolutely sick and
cansado.
tired. So then,
Entonces, los
the
jóvenes
youth,
quieren
they
usar
want to
el
use
pelo
long
largo,
hair.
me
I
parece
think that's
bien.
fine.
Quieren
They want
cortarse
to
el pelo,
cut
me
their hair.
parece
I think
bien.
that's fine too.
Hagan lo que se
Do whatever you want.
A mí me gusta
I
el pelo
like
largo. Si yo
long
tuviera
hair. If
una
I had
cantidad de
a
pelo
huge
largo
amount of
suficiente,
hair,
lo dejaría
I would
suelto
leave
el
it
pelo. No me lo dejo
loose.
suelto porque sería muy ridículo.
I don't leave it loose because it's very ridiculous. It has no, it hasn't the necessary volume, and I wish I had lots of volume and to have it very long.
Y si no me
And
gusta
if I don't like the
color,
color,
y si me lo
I
tinto
would dye it
así de azul, me
blue
lo
like
tinto de azul,
Angelina,
una
but with
banda.
golden
Me encanta el pelo como se lo tiñe Angelina. Azul. Y era de ella.
line. I love the way she dyes it blue. That's the way it is. And when she is losing the color, she goes and dyes it again, and having different colors. You go in red, green, however. Well, red, it's acceptable. White with the red line is not acceptable. It's the only color that is prohibited in the eternal truth. The rest is fine. The rest colors are fine. So then, I think it's all spectacular. When I say Armando Maradona, in one of his returns to Boca, he came and he dyed yellow a line here. If you can look it up. It's a yellow line here. It was shocking, even for me. It was shocking to see a guy with a line like that in his hair. It was something so shocking for all Argentina. It wasn't used. We would not imagine it. And the guy, I just found out what he wanted is to dye his whole entire hair blue and with a yellow line. It's just that the blue, and he said, the way they say it in Argentina, his daughter says, he said because I was a blackhead, as they would call it. He himself said it because he wasn't like the blondes of the capital, but it's of the more of the race of the interior, more dark, a bit darker, not the blondes, but to be of the darker ones. They used to call them blackheads back then, but they don't use that anymore. I mean, it's an old term. And he said, because my hair is black like that, I wouldn't take the blue. His idea was to wear blue with a yellow line, and he just had the yellow line. Just that yellow line. We're talking about many years ago. Now, then, of course, they would dye his hair. Maybe he tried to do it on his own and his wife back then. It was Claudia. That shocked me. It shocked the Argentinians in an impressive way. It shouldn't shock. Nothing should shock us. Maybe my words shock you. You can wear your hair however you want. I love long hair. It gives us another aura. But short hair is fine too. It's fine too. When Rob Halford started with Judas Priest, he had long hair. Then he had to shave it because his hair wasn't growing. Now he's shaven head. Do I not like Rob Halford from Judas Priest with his hair without hair? Doesn't bother me at all. I love the band, I love the way he sings, and I love it like that. If he had the power to have long hair, maybe he would say, I want it long like I had it before, but of course. But you lose the mane. Everyone use it however he can and however he wants. My personal likes, I can give you my opinions. I love long hair. But there is nothing in the eternal truth that would tell you or criticize you if you had it this way tomorrow, and tomorrow you decided to cut it. It is your problem, and aside from that, the change is beautiful. You wear it short some years, then you let it go long, then you dye it, and then you make it pink, however the fuck you want. Just like that. Also, criticism is cute, because if you come with your pink hair, Ale, next Shabbat, I'm going to tell him, wow, what did you do? I don't like the way you're wearing it. I'm going to tell him, I don't like the way, but if you like it, use it. Of course, use it. But the way, it'd be better blue, for example. Or also match the nails. Have a better match. Okay, very well. 5. Exactly. Change is good. Let us not be closed-minded. 5. He says, thanks, Silva friends, for answering our doubts. I have heard experiences about situations about the paralysis of sleep. Some coincide that they are completely awakened, and that the happenings are because of paranormal things that are not attributed to stress or sleep disorders. Some of those experiences affirm that it is some entity that take power of the body while they're awake, and even that they feel a heaviness in their bed or on their chest. In Mexico, they call it as the cadaver hopping on top of you. Do you know about that expression? Like the dead men getting on top of you. According to the Germanic medicine, how can you identify the cause and how could you find the solution? Well, this experience is the paralysis of sleep. It's when you're sleeping, and then all of a sudden, as if you awake and you're conscious, you hear sounds, but you cannot open your eyes. Or they're kind of open, and you can see. Not so well, but you can see. But you want to awaken and you cannot. You just hear. And you feel some sensations, but you're paralyzed. That is what happens. You're paralyzed. You can hear your clock going tick tock, tick tock. You can open your eyes a little bit and look at the window or whatever. And you can feel that you're awakened, but you cannot move. You cannot move. You're paralyzed. And generally you start to feel the pressure about the dead guy getting on top of you, as they say in Mexico. You feel like a pressure on your chest, like something is putting pressure on top of you. So that's why they say that it's the dead guy on top of you. You feel pressure and you become desperate and you can go into panic. And you start to think and everything that they taught you, saying there's a spirit possessing me, paralyzing me, there's the devil fighting against me. Have all of you had this experience, or who hasn't? You've never had it. You have. You? Never. I have it many times. It's happened to me so many times, I mean, I cannot even count them. It's like, no, I mean, you're awake. It's not a nightmare. You're awake. No. It's not a nightmare because you're awake and conscious and you feel your entire body because you cannot move it. There's a difference with having a dream that you're paralyzed. That's something else. But in that moment, you are conscious. You feel that you're in bed. And you know why I'm telling you that you're awake? Because when you come out of that trance, you start to move everything. All your limbs. You were already awakened, but you were immobilized. There comes a point in which that immobilization that you have is loosened, and the transition, it doesn't go from being asleep to awaken. You were awakened, and you can start to move again. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. I've lived it many times. You cannot even count them. Right. To make an effort to force it to move your hands, exactly. I've told you what I've discovered to enjoy that experience. At first, it scares you when it's never happened to you. It scares you. You think that somebody's possessing you, that a demon came because you've been listening to music. I've told you so many times that when you listen to satanic music, someday the devil will possess you and subjugate you, and the dead guy will get on top of you. Those cross your mind, that you're there because they're going to kill you. I mean, 10,000 things go through your head right there at first. And you start to grow desperate. The least thing you have to do is to get into panic, but enjoy the moment. There's no dead guy getting on top of you. There's no strange power that is taking over your body and mind or paralyzing you. None of that exists. It is a unique experience that does not have an explanation, at least not in Germanic medicine, nor do I care. I don't think Hammer went into it. Maybe, but I don't know. I've never heard
nunca lo escuché
him talk about
a
it.
ese punto.
It's
Pero es una
an
experiencia donde la
experience where the transition of the
de
conscious,
la conciencia hay un
there
desfase
is
con
a
la motricidad.
desync with your
Entonces tú tienes
motor.
conciencia, que es estar alerta
One thing is to
de
be
tu
alert
alrededor y lo que
of
ocurre,
your
pero
surroundings, but
todavía
you
no
don't
tienes
have
control de
control
tu motricidad.
of your motor
Entonces,
skills.
no es que
It's
estás
not that you're
paralizado, no
paralyzed,
estás paralizado,
you just don't
no
have
tienes
the
control
control
consciente
of
de
your
tu
mobility.
motricidad. Por más que
It's difficult to explain.
es difícil de explicar.
Even if
Por más
you
que
supposedly
tú supuestamente le das
command
la
the hand to
orden a la
move
mano que se mueva,
and
no
it
se
cannot
puede
move,
mover.
and you want to move your head and you can't move
Mueves
it,
la cabeza y no podés moverla. Apenas que
or
podés
that you
llegar
can
a
open
abrir
your eyes a little bit
los
and
ojos
hear and
y
listen
escuchar,
everything
escuchas
around you,
todo a tu alrededor,
the breathing
escuchas la respiración
of
de
your
tu-
husband
de
or
tu
wife,
esposo, de tu
if you're
esposa, si
accompanied,
estás
you
acompañado,
hear
escuchas
sounds clearly,
gritos claramente y que
and
nadie te abre la puerta ahí. Porque ahí se
nobody
vas a
open your door
asustar.
because you'll get
No puedes
scared right there and you
moverte,
cannot
no
move,
puedes
you
moverte,
cannot
estás
move.
ahí. Es un desfase
The,
de la toma de control de tu
there's a
motricidad.
complete
Es un
desync.
desfase,
I can't
no lo
explain
puedo
it.
explicar, no puedo
There's no
explicar.
problem though.
Pero no hay problema.
You understand what I'm telling
Si tú
you,
entiendes lo que yo
then
te
you have to
digo,
enjoy it.
entonces tenés que disfrutarlo.
Instead of thinking
En
that
vez
they're
de pensar
possessing
que
you
te están
and
poseyendo
that they're going to
y que
do
te
an
van a hacer un
evil,
mal,
and of course,
y
that
claro,
pressure you
esa
feel
presión
in
que
your
sentís en el pecho
chest, this
es
fear, is
miedo,
absolute chest. It's absolute
absolutamente
fear
miedo, esa
in the
presión
chest.
en el pecho,
Desperation
desesperación, que se te va
that will
enseguida
leave you quickly if you
si
relax
tú
and you
te
say, wow,
relajas y dices,
I'm awakening.
wow, estoy despertando,
Waking
voy
up
a
and I'm
contar hasta
count
10,
up to 10 or 5, and when I
5,
count up to
y cuando
5,
cuente hasta
as if
5,
it were
como si
hypnosis,
fuera una hipnosis.
it's a
Es un
type of
estilo de
self-hypnosis, so then your mind has to
Entonces, tu mente tiene que
think.
estar,
In fact, you
ok,
can
es más,
relax
podés
and look
relajarte y
and
mirar
listen and see.
y
Let's see.
escuchar y decir, a ver, cuando
Don't
no
try
hagas
to
fuerza para retomar el
force
cuerpo.
yourself to
Lo que
take
me
back
dijo,
your
lo que
mobility.
me dijo
What Hector told me is what you should
justamente
not
Héctor, es
do.
lo que no
I'm
tenés que
saying
hacer.
to move your hand, want to try to move your hand, move your
Mover
hand.
la
No,
mano y quiero mover la mano. No,
no, you have to relax.
no, hay que relajar.
Don't try to move
No
your hand.
intentes
You're
mover.
just going to tell your brain,
Solamente vas a decirle a tu
I'm going to
cerebro,
count up to
voy
5,
a contar hasta 5
and I'm going to start to move
y voy a
everything.
empezar a mover
And
todo.
you start to count,
empiezas a
count right
mover
there.
así,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4,
On number 5,
en el 5
you'll see that all of a sudden you can move your hand without
sin hacer fuerza.
forcing it. But you
Pero
have to
tienes
give
que
the
dar la
command to the
orden al
brain
cerebro.
or count up to 10
Contar hasta
or
10.
nothing because it goes
Nada,
away.
porque se pasa,
In seconds it goes
en
away.
algunos segundos se pasa.
Some people say it takes
Una
minutes. No, it
persona
doesn't
va a
last
decir, dura
minutes.
minutos. No, no dura minutos.
It doesn't last minutes.
No dura minutos.
I do not have,
tengo-
or maybe it lasts a minute. I don't have the least idea. But it
Pero
seems to be eternal.
parece eterno lo que dura.
Your
Eso,
sensation
tu
seems that it's an
sensación
eternity
es eternidad.
and that you could die at
Que
any
te
moment,
puede llegar a morir en cualquier momento.
that anything
Algo
could
va a
happen.
pasar. Y te sobrecoge
And
miedo.
what takes over you
No
is
te
fear.
sobrecoja
Do not allow the
miedo.
fear to take
Es lo que tenés que
you,
lograr, que no te
to
sobrecoja
own
el
you,
miedo.
to not let fear own you.
Es aparte.
Aside
aparte,
from that,
es que
aside
no-
from
es que
that,
estás muy lejos de
I
la
mean,
muerte.
you're way too far from
Estás muy no es-
from
no tiene
death.
que ver con la
It has nothing
muerte.
to do with death.
Y yo intentaba hacer lo que
I
dice
used to
Héctor.
try to do what
Dice,
Hector says.
"Movete,
Move, you
cuando
son
se
of a
puede,
bitch. And when he goes
y uno empieza
like that,
con
and you
fuerza,
start
con
with
fuerza, y
forcing it,
rompes.
and then you break
Pero no
break
es
the
lindo
spell.
romperlo así, lo que
It's
te
not
digo.
cute.
Lo puedes
It's not
hacer así,
nice to
perfecto, pero no
break
es
it that way. You
así.
can do so, but it's not
Y date la
nice to
orden
do
de
so. Count and
relajarte,
give yourself
que
the
vas a
command
tomar
of relaxing
el
and say, okay, I'm going to
control
take the
del
control
cuerpo en 10
of my
segundos.
body in 10
Lo contás,
seconds. And you count
y en
it.
el momento, yo te digo porque
And
no
right
te
there,
conté,
I've told you because I've
no te estoy
experienced it.
contando algo que leí
I'm
en un
not
libro.
telling you something that I
Lo
read
conté
in a
yo.
book. I
Yo no lo
taught
leí
myself that. I
en
didn't
ningún
read it
lado.
anywhere.
Yo no lo leí en ningún lado.
I didn't
Entonces,
read
en
it
mi
anywhere.
mente,
So then in my
cuando
mind,
sucede eso,
when that
disfruto
takes
la
place, I
sensación
enjoy the
rica,
sensation and I say,
de
wow,
estar inmovilizado.
how beautiful to be like this.
Locura, sí.
I mean, it's
A
crazy.
nadie le gusta estar inmovilizado, porque
Nobody
es
likes to be
lo-
like that, but I say it that way.
Aparte,
Aside from that,
nada. No se-
nothing. It doesn't work that way. If you're afraid, it closes in even more.
Bueno, yo he escuchado
Well, I've
voces.
heard
Yo he
voices.
escuchado
I have
voces.
heard
Es una cosa
voices. See, that's the
que
thing.
estás en un trance donde
You're in a
también
trance
estás
where
medio
you're
dormido.
also
Yo no
kind
te
of
voy a
half
decir que
asleep,
estás
half
totalmente
awake. I'm not going to say you're completely awake.
Estás despierto,
You're awake,
pero hay
but
una
there
línea gris
is a gray
entre
line
la conciencia
between
y la
consciousness and
inconsciencia.
inconsciousness,
Yo recuerdo una
unconsciousness.
experiencia
I
que
remember an
conté,
experience that I've told
muy seriamente cuando
very
estaba dando
seriously when I was
la
giving
no-trinidad
the
en el
non-Trinity
año
in the year
2009.
2009, that I remember up until now. And now I think about it, and actually, I say, wow, how does the brain work? How the brain works. Back then, I used to believe that Satan existed. Back then, I thought that there was a war between God and Satan and his evil angels against his good angels. So then, some of you that follow me since 2008 or 2009 will remember what I've said. As it turns out, when I was about to give a subject that was called the divinity, the Godhead, 2008, the Godhead. This was 2008, mind you. The night prior, which I already knew that type of paralysis, I had a paralysis that was generated. I'll tell it to you right now. It was my brain, exactly my fears, my anxieties. And I awake, and I was paralyzed. And I feel the dead man getting on top of me, as they say, a pressure in my chest. But this time I feel the pressure not just in my chest, but in my head like this. And I felt as if someone was sitting in my head and was telling me in the ear, do not speak of the Trinity, against the Trinity. Speak not against the Trinity. Can't remember the words right now. I remember the experience. I would have to watch the subject or where I said it, because I told this experience and I thought that it was, and that's the way I told it. The devil is threatening me and trying to persuade me not to speak in favor of the Godhead, which would be another lie. Because the Trinity is a complete invention, and I was going to talk about another invention, which is the Father and the Son. So then we were from a lie to fall into another, from Guatemala to Guateworst. That's what we were getting into. Precisely, from three beings, we would go into two beings, the Father and the Son. The Son is begotten in the heaven, and blah blah, and they're two, and that it was begotten and everything. I explained about that. But in my fears, in my anxieties, it was a subject that was so huge for me, and were such few experience of me speaking. It was the very beginning of the eternal truth. We didn't have the name of the eternal truth for that time, because it was in 2008 that I felt that anxiety of those fears of what would happen when I say this. I'm going to speak basically to Adventists, and I'm still an Adventist. Back then, many things happen in psychology, and it's to rise up against your own church, against your own family, against your own brethren, and against everything you've believed up until then. Because one thing is for you to see, watch a subject and find logic in it, and something else to develop a subject and then present it yourself. You will be the weapon that will be utilized to come out from deceit. Well, in my mind, it was something with lots of responsibility, my fears, my anguishes. So then that was generated, and it was generated for a voice come up that said, don't speak against the Trinity. Who generated that voice? Was it the devil? I thought it was the devil speaking. I believed it and I said it in the subject. I'm not sure in one of those or in a following one. Can't remember. One of those should have heard it. Do you remember? Right. Now I have to correct that experience and say it was my own fears. It was me. It was me, my own fears, having war within. How do we say that when we have a cognitive dissonance, which was expressed that way, like fighting my own demons, like in my brain of should I do this, should I not? What are they going to say? Is it something crazy? They're going to look at me weird. I'm going to talk about against the Holy Trinity. It's nothing easy. It's not easy. I tell you, it's not easy for me. At the end of it all, it was easy. because with my character it was easy, but until referring to the fact that at first it didn't seem to be easy of what would happen. So then there was no Satan that spoke to me, it was myself. It is the type of nightmare, like Minto said, because we're within the fear and the conscious that is awakened in a terrain that is mixed. But then you do have conscious, and then the one spoke to me was myself saying, don't speak about that, why are you going to get into that problem? That's the way it is, very simple. It is very simple. So then, when I learned to deal with this, and I learned to say what were to happen if I were to tell this, when I started to count, I would count up until 10, take the functions, take over the functions immediately, and I started to enjoy it. I noticed that it was me generating that, and it never affected me again. From then on out, when I was conscious of that, it never happened to me again. I forgot to say that. It never happened to me again. When I started to really laugh my ass off about that and enjoy it, quote unquote, and it would leave, it never came to me again. Satan abandoned me. The demon abandoned me. That would persecute me. So then that is my experience. It is yourselves. You're in a line between sleep and a dream and conscious mind. Enjoy that. Don't give it any importance. It is you yourselves, those who give yourself that message. Very well. Question number 6, and the last one. There's 2 very good ones, but this is for later. But these are the 6 that I wanted to give, and so that we're up to date. Question number 6. This question, number 6, it was in the last subject. It is public. Because it was written by the user that has the name of the user. It says at Flat Earth S89. Some of you must have seen it. It's still there, I can imagine. And he said this. I thought this study was incredible, thank you. I would like to ask something with all due respect. 35 years old. And I've lost all hope, all urge of wanting to live on this plane. And I only survive day by day for the prophecies to be fulfilled and for everything to end, or better said, to begin. I feel like it's worthless to study anymore, to work, creating a future, projecting, having relationship, nothing makes sense. Nothing surprises you, etc. If it's only 6 years left for this to end, what should I do? What do you recommend? I am trusting entirely that you know my question 100%, and you'll give us some light, blessings, and a great big hug. Well, welcome to the club, that's first of all. Welcome to the club of those of us that see it in that very same way. I'm going to teach something now. To answer this question, I'm going to teach something that is fabulous. It's fabulous, you can apply it in every aspect of your life. Not just in what I'm going to answer now, but in every aspect of your life, even in sports. What I'm about to explain now, I've learned it about sports, exactly, about sports that I like the most, which is tennis. I've learned it from tennis. But it is a fabulous teaching for any situation in your life. Anyone. It's something that essentially you already know. But maybe you have not given it the importance, or maybe not have comprehended it in the way that I'm going to teach you now. For example, in tennis, it is a game that's very different to football or other sports,
podés
you can
perder
lose
un
a
set
set entirely
completamente
6-0. I'm not going to explain that now because it would be way too long. You can be losing 5-0 on the second set. In other words, the other player would only have to score one more game and he will win the whole entire game. And that all, you have the hope and you can turn the game around. Even if you're losing the first set and you lost it, but it's whoever wins the best 3 sets. Unless it's a Grand Slam, it's 5 sets. But regularly it's 3 sets. It's a set of games. If you get to 6 games, you complete a set. Unless you have to do a tie break. If you don't understand about tennis, it'll be difficult. It's difficult. Difficult to understand it, but later it's so easy. But it's difficult to explain it right here and make it short, and I'll talk about soccer. Maybe you don't like it, and I bore you about soccer, and I'll bore you about tennis, and then you say, now you're gonna talk about golf. We're gonna study the Word of God. No, you're listening to it. So then in tennis, you may have lost every single shot and not have scored a single point, not one set. And then the guy's about to take the ball out, like serve, and then you can win the game back. It's still winnable. That doesn't happen in other sports. In other sports, if in soccer they score 5 to 6 goals and you have a minute left, you can't win it. But in tennis you can. What's marvelous about how they make points in tennis is that even if it's been very bad at first, shamefully bad, you always have the hope that you can turn everything around and win the game. Obviously, if you do things extremely well, but you have a chance, because there's no time. There's no time. You have a chance. For example, if I were to play with Carlitos Alcaraz, which is number 1 in tennis, or Jannik Sinner, number 2, and they were to tell me, Christian, we'll play against you. We'll give you 1 set, lead, and 5-0, and 5-0, winning, and you serve. They know that they'll win, because I'm not even going to win with the serve. Not even the serve. With the way that I can serve, they'll return it, I won't be able to see it, and if I were to see it, the following I won't see it. They're going to win. And then when I just needed 1, I would not be able to win 1 single game. Okay, that was just an example. Now, the thing is that it's so important, that type of score for this, because between 1 point and a point there's a pause. In the moment in which there's a pause, that I either serve or I receive, when the ball is not at play and somebody's going to serve, whether I'm about to do so or they are, there's a period in which your mind goes anywhere else. I've done it so badly that reverse, everything's going like ass today. I want to really strike it and I leave it in the net. When I correct what I want to do, I hit it out of the park. Nothing. I mean, I can't really hit it in the center. All of my serves go to the net or outside. I have to do it like a 90-year-old woman in order for it to pass. I'm no good for this. What should I do? Why can't I do it like yesterday or last week? What's going on? Right, of course, I'm sick and tired. What am I doing here? I'm wasting my time. I should go and do something else. All those things happen in your mind. If the guy's better than you and he's beaten you many times, you start to say, I'm no good. I mean, why do I even play tennis? He hits the ball so much better than I do. And then none of that helps in your mind, nothing. You're going to play even worse. So then in the psychology of tennis, it was discovered that you have to eliminate all of the thoughts of the me number 1, which is the logical me, which is telling you where you have to correct. For example, when I'm about to hit the ball, and I hit the ball wrong, and I leave it there in the net, the me number 1 says immediately, you're an idiot, I told you to bring lower and give more spin. You have to lift the ball. You have to lift the ball. How many times am I going to tell you? All that happens in my mind. How many times am I going to tell you? You're useless. When are you going to learn? I've told you, and now I'm going to demonstrate it. All that happens in the mind of the tennis player. So the tennis player says, okay, next time I'll hit it this way. So the next time, when the ball comes to the same position, he takes control. The me number one takes control, tenses the hand even more, lowers the racket even more with more purposefully. And this time he doesn't send it to the net, but off into the stands. What happens is what happens. The me number one, which is that one that consciously intervenes, cannot intervene in the play. Something that you will not understand if you don't play tennis, or if you play tennis, it'll cost you to understand the system. If I consciously say I have to lower the racket even more, it won't work. The best tennis players of the world and the best athletes in the world do things without thinking. What one does in practice, and that's where you in slow motion, you practice the movements you're going to do. But in the moment of executing the moment, you cannot intervene in trying to lower the racket. It's too late. You just have to concentrate your mind on something else and allow for your whole training or capacity to do the best thing you can, because your brain calculates the strike a lot better than what you think you can do. So you have to trust in your mind. You only have to ask them, raise the ball more. Do whatever you have to do. And your mind understands what it has to do. And you have to focus your attention on something else. And here I go into what I am answering this question. Concentration. You know what concentration is? When one looks at a tennis player and says he lost his focus, and now he's locked in, and now he's not locked in. What are they referring to when they say that a tennis player is locked in or not? I want you to think. What is the concentration? What comes to your mind when a tennis player is concentrated? What do you think that the word concentration means? What is it? Don't answer me, because you're going to answer me like shit. Because it's not what you think. What is the concentration? And the word itself tells you. But they do not explain it to you. It tells you. So then what difference is there in a tennis player? I'll explain it to you with tennis. I'll explain it with any other sport. Careful. I mean, the guys that's going to kick into the penalty can kick it into the stands are very slow. When it's like, you might ask, why was it so slow? What the fuck's wrong with you? It's a concentration. What is the concentration? What do you imagine the concentration is when there's a tennis player and all of a sudden he starts to hit the ball brilliantly? And you hear a commentator says he's very locked in. He's very locked in. And when he starts to do it like ass, he says, well, he's lost his concentration. What happens? What is the concentration? What is it? Do you know what it is? Don't say you do, because you don't. You don't know. Unless you actually know and you surprise me. I'm not going to tell you what concentration is, because you're not going to know how to answer. Well, it's precisely there. And if Minto, I don't know where he got a similar answer or something like that. It's very close. Right, of everything I said before, very close. You think that the concentration is... I'm waiting for it. Suppose that I'm going to take out... I'm going to serve. So then I focus and I say I'm going to strike the ball. Obviously not with the hand, but with my forearm. If you know about tennis, you don't do it with your hand. It's going to go wherever. It is with the forearm. With the forearm. The arm does the movement. It is not just with the forearm. You could go this way and that way with just the forearm. If I do it with my hand, it's going to go anywhere. The movement is done only and exclusively with the arm, with the shoulder. I'm telling you, I lost the word. In practice, techniques of tennis, of those that know how to play. I like to play tennis well. Evidently, I'm already older and I would like to play it since I was younger. But the technique is purely the shoulder, not this, not this. Not even grabbing the ball. It is only the shoulder, because the shoulder is the only movement that you can do in order for the ball to go generally in the same place. If I alter it a bit like that and I give it some effect, I grab the ball, it'll be anywhere. I need it in the very same place. So then, if you think that concentration is to think, the shoulder, don't grab the ball. Cast it right there, not way too high, right there. Take the racket backwards. Raise both arms at the same time, according to your technique. Lower, let the arm fall back. Do the movement of number 8 so that the racket falls backwards. Free the body. Raise your shoulder, your elbow, and do pronation. Pronation so that the ball goes like this. Because the speed is in this secret, it's not in this secret, it's in the pronation, which is called when you twist the shoulder. Here's 120-mile-per-hour serve is not achieved the way you think. I'm gonna hit it. No, you achieve it with elasticity of a movement that's very well executed. That starts from the legs and it ends in a whip. That is where the speed goes, not in the strength. If you think that a tennis player, a professional one, can serve, not get tired, and you go and practice and you go pass with all your strength, and already winded, your shoulders start to hurt, you don't know how to strike it, it won't go. And you're going to say, those guys are geniuses. They have a technique. It's all technique. It's all technique. So then in the pronation of the shoulder, of the hips, of the waist, the legs, and the last thing is the wrist, it gives a brutal speed to the ball and it makes the ball enter. That and many other things that I can't explain now. You think that concentration is to think all that? No, none. No, it's backwards. Concentration of a tennis player is based in thinking, in guiding, to concentrate all of his mind, which is huge. I'll explain what the conscious is. To concentrate it into something that would seem laughable, and to allow for his subconscious to do the rest. Generally, a tennis player has to concentrate all of his attention in the pattern of the tennis ball. You say, oh, he's focused. Oh, he's just looking at the pattern of the ball, nothing else. He's concentrating all his me number one, his conscious, into something that you would think is crazy. He's not thinking that the arm has to be raised. No, it's not the moment, not even to remind him anything. There's no moment, no time there. In practices, you can practice, concentrate, feel, experience, but not in a game. In a game, it is what you have, and not what you have consciously, but subconsciously. So then, you have to concentrate in no judgment whatsoever, not praise nor criticism, and to concentrate your mind in something else. Because if you're going to go and serve and you are 15-40 in that point, makes you lose the game. It's most likely that you'll lose it because you're going to think, I have to score here because it's the last one. It's my match point. I have to do it. Even if it's a match point to win, if you're about to win, that's when the player plays the worst. Why is it the one that's about to win and he's going to serve? He's always served well, but in the last moment, he can't. It's so difficult to close because he loses focus. He's thinking, and I have to do it the best way possible, just like last set. I have to score, and that's it. It's ruined. His serve is ruined. How do you have to concentrate the mind? Concentrating every single thought in something that you can see and allow for your subconscious that does all the motor skills to do all its work without you intervening. In the moment that you intervened, you have tensed the muscle. You have tensed your mouth. You've seen how they go like this, and their face is like that. You've ruined it. You don't play tennis like that. You don't play tennis like that. Tennis is flow. You have to flow. You have to flow the movement. So then, what am I trying to teach with all this? What I'm trying to teach is that you have to concentrate your attention. What is consciousness? Our consciousness is like the light of the brain. Let's think that our consciousness, which is what we think with, that the consciousness receives the five senses, which is the sight. What are the eyes? To look, to see. And the consciousness receives the images. The ears receive the sound, which feed our consciousness. The sense of touch gives the conscious what we think, what we feel. Taste gives our consciousness what we're eating. And smell gives our consciousness what sensation it produces, what we're smelling. It's just eyesight, ear, touch, taste, and your smell. Those are just sensors that in themselves, nothing do they analyze or do anything. It's sensors for something very great, which is consciousness. Consciousness is that what we are. It is the one that's listening right now. Right now, many things are happening around you, but your consciousness is listening to me, listening to my words, and watching me. But there are so many things that take place around you that your consciousness turns off to be able to concentrate in listening to what I say. For example, you have a tongue that produces sensations in your mouth. And right now, before me pronouncing it, you weren't even noticing or paying attention. That I mentioned it, you felt your tongue immediately. While I was speaking, you weren't paying attention to your tongue. Now you feel that your tongue, you feel the sensation that it produces within your mouth. It was just for me to mention it, for you to feel it. But, or else your attention was somewhere else. So many things has happened around you, and they're happening right now. So many things around you, but you center your attention, concentrate your attention in something that you want to listen to. Within what you're listening to, you eliminate words that I'm saying, and you hear the ones that you want to listen to because you're centered within what you're listening to in certain things, because your beliefs are acting also in what is convenient for you to hear and what's not convenient to hear. That's why in certain discourses, some people want to hear, they hear what they hear. They all listen to the same thing, but with your focus of attention, your concentration, you were focused in certain words and not in others that directly you didn't listen to consciously, but you did listen to them. You did hear them. But you didn't want to. It's not that you didn't want to. It's because it's not in your decision. Your consciousness turned them off. Suppose that I said something like a preamble, and then I say a phrase. That phrase, you focused on it, and you took away everything that I said before. And so then later they come and say, you said this and that, for example, because you forgot about everything else that I said, because your concentration was in that. That happens to all of us. It happens to all of us. It happens to me. When I look at things, and then I say, where did he say this? Where did he say that? And he did say that. And I said, wow, yeah, I did say it. Where the fuck was it? I was focused on something else. It happens to all of us. Watching a movie, I've missed phrases, I was concentrating on something that was happening there. Or I'm listening to something and I didn't notice a scene. That's the way it is. It's wherever you put your focus. That's what the consciousness is, where you place your attention. In psychology, this is well understood. For example, when you're going to buy yourself a car and you're looking for, I don't know, a Nissan Sentra that's red, you're going to start to see red Sentras everywhere. Before you had not seen it. You had not seen it. Why? Because your consciousness saw everything, but it eliminated everything because it didn't care. And all of a sudden, you're pregnant. And you start to see pregnant women everywhere. Before you used to not even notice them, it's as if you would eliminate them because it was as if they didn't exist. Now you're pregnant, and you start to see pregnant women everywhere. Where your focus is, that is where you start to see. It's not that all of a sudden they started to be. No, they were always there. But you focus your attention in different things. Going back. In order for a tennis player to not lose a game, he has to concentrate his mind in certain things. Points of concentration, respiration, your breathing between one point and another. When they attack the nerves and the thoughts, you're going to lose, or you have to close it, or you cannot lose, or you're playing so bad. How do you eliminate that? Because you have to. How do you eliminate that? Just by feeling the air to enter your lungs, and then you exhale. That is pure concentration. That is pure concentration. When you achieve to concentrate your brain in something, it is pure concentration. And in tennis, you do not concentrate in tennis. You concentrate in something else that distracts you in order to distract you from the bad thoughts that come up. Because bad thoughts do come up. It's not, you're not as good enough, everything's bad, you're not playing like last week. I don't know what's going on, the other guy's too good. So then when you are able to concentrate the mind in small details, the mind achieves such an effect until it starts to see the ball, even what it would seem as in slow motion. When a tennis player is focused, the ball would seem that you have an extra tenth of a second, or that the speed is lowering, and you see the ball even bigger, because if it were bigger, it's easier to hit. When you have lost focus, it's as if it draws away and becomes smaller and faster. That is why when a tennis player is very well focused, he can do incredible strikes that do it super fast. Or in the net, if you're lost focused, you can do a good play. If you're focused, it would seem that you have more time, that all of a sudden, without thinking it, because you're focused in the ball, that you want to see the lines of the ball, but your body works immediately. If you think, oh, you're going to grab it, right in a moment, you've lost your opportunity, because by concentrating your mind in what you have to do, you can't do it. That's as simple as that. Taking that out about tennis, consciousness is a light. It's like a light that gathers the input of the five senses you have. And consciousness has the capacity, it's a sense in itself. It has the capacity of focusing whatever they want. Focus outwardly through the senses, or focus inwardly, and to revise emotions, remembrances, or to philosophize. That is what the consciousness does. Look outwardly or inward. So then, this is what I want for you to learn very well, in order for you to apply it. Consciousness is a light, like a lantern, that can either focus. When I'm talking about focus now, imagine, you'll visualize this better, a light. You are in a forest, in complete darkness, and all of a sudden you have a light. You turn on the light, and you see a whole bunch of trees. And the light gets to a certain point, so that you can visualize the whole tree. Now, if you visualize all of the trees, You actually see a general panorama, but you're not seeing the details because the focus of your lantern is very wide. But if you were able to imagine your lantern, if it could focus and start to narrow the focus, there's the focus. And when every time in your life you heard in your life saying you got to focus on something else, but you don't understand, they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, just watch something else. It's, no, no. The focus is the diameter of the concentration. So then, if your focus of your lantern starts to narrow, it starts to concentrate in a specific place, then the other is stays in darkness, or either you see the whole forest or you concentrate the light into something. And when you concentrate the light into something, you can concentrate it in one tree. You can concentrate it even more and you see a leaf. The rest disappears. That is the focus of attention. I'm teaching this to you so you can visualize this. The focus of attention, and you focus even more and you see a worm. And that worm, you would never have had seen him if you were to look at the entire forest. You know that it exists because you've seen it. But in order to see the worm, you have to focus, turn off the forest, which you know exists, and to focalize your light, which is your conscience, in a specific place. And by concentrating it, you can see it even further, even farther. Which, if you were to open the range and you would to look at everything closer, the problem is that if in a light it is dirty, for example, your lantern is dirty, or there starts to be some sort of smoke or interference, your focus will not be as good. If your focus is dirty, then you're not going to be able to see in a clear way what you want to see, because it's going to be fogged up. And in our mind, what fogs up our vision and our focus are the thoughts. There are interferences. There is noise that do not allow us to see this clearly, and they interfere with our focus. So then you have to know how to cleanse those noises, that smoke, that dirtiness, in order to be able to focus an objective clearly, or else you won't be able to focus it. This works in every aspect of life. When you want to buy, like I've told you, a house, you have to focus it. You cannot buy yourself a house if you don't focus it. So then it would be good that you keep the focus there. You buy yourself a picture to cut up a picture of a house, however you wish you would want it, and you put it there in the mirror of the bathroom. Every time you go to the bathroom, you'll see your attention to your light is focused. I want a house. Just like that, I want a house. You ask number two, I want a house. I want a house. If you say, I can't buy a house, then you took off the focus. You fogged it up. I want a house. You focus it, I can't. You put an interference like that, and the house has disappeared. It's impossible. You have to take the interferences away and concentrate into something. The question is, I've told you this because I try to apply this always in my mind, always in my mind. It is the secret of passing through this life. This will apply everywhere. Look, a jealous person, let's suppose that a lady is jealous of her husband. Whether she likes him or not, because jealousy doesn't work always because there's love, but just because it's jealousy. So then if she's jealous, tell me, where does the lady has the focus? Where does she have the focus? In the other women and in her husband, basically. In her husband, and seeing what attitude they've got. But if you're conscious of what I'm saying, if you're jealous and you're conscious of it, immediately you can break the focus. But what does a jealous person do? They're always looking to see, what does this guy do? Let's see. If he leaves the cell phone, the focus of attention, does he have something in his cell phone? What time did he leave? He didn't come from work. I'm already worried. And this one, I think that he was looking that way. So then the focus of her conscience is her husband is focusing and that he is cheating on her. If you live your life that way, you live your life that way. It is terrible, whether it's true or not. At the edge of it being true, generally it's not true. So then it is the story of the cat, which is a jack in Spanish, of the guy who had a flat tire and he went and asked a house to see if they could lend him a jack, but when his focus going over there, he said he's not going to let me borrow it. He's going to say, no, what a son of a bitch. Why won't he let me borrow? What a son of a bitch. I mean, there's nothing else. You know the joke already. And so then as he advanced to the house, where was the focus of the person? It's all about the focus. And the concentration, where is it? Your light, which is your conscience. So then you're debating, he's not going to want to let me borrow it, tell you the truth. I've been wasting my time. I'm going to spend the night here because the son of a bitch won't let me borrow it. And he made his whole story, because that's where his focus was, and didn't change the focus. When he got home, he knocks at the door and they open up and he says, shove that jack up your ass, straight up like that. He solved it all. He didn't even ask him for the jack, and he insulted him and says, your dog should shove it up your ass, you son of a bitch. Hold on. That's the way we are. Because we have to learn to unfocus. It happens to me all the time that I'm focusing things that I shouldn't focus. And when the focus is left there, that is when I come with Shabbat and I say, this is all dog shit. I'm sick and tired. I want to send everything off to the bitch that bore him, because it's all the focus in the wrong place. But why does that happen? Because I study the Bible way too much and I see the incongruencies or the wickedness of the Creator towards us. If it's not wickedness, that's the way I see it, but the experience that He has made us go through, and that it's all a lie, and that everything in this life, they deceive us, and on purpose, it makes me want to break everything, but I'm forced to focus there, because or else why the fuck would I speak to you? I have to look in the Bible, the prophecies of what the world is, what God planned for us. So I am forced to place the focus there all the time. But I have to unfocus it. Because if I stay there, then yes, at the end of it all, it makes you feel, if you take it to the extreme, it says, let's end with this life, this dog shit life, because this dog shit, if you take it to the extreme, you get to that result. I focus it there in everything that surrounds us, and sometimes I come here some Shabbats more negative than others. It is because my focus is placed and I forgot to take it out, for example, and I have to focus it somewhere else. That helps me because I know the mechanic. Of course, if I have the focus placed in that and I come here upset to insult God in this life, that's all dog shit, that we're sick and tired, but I'm not going to earn anything with that. It's just to embitter myself a bit. So then this question, of course I understand it. I understand where your focus is left. I'm 35 years old and I've lost all hope. Of course, clearly, you grabbed the focus from me and you stayed with that. You don't want to change it. All hopes of living in this plane. But of course, if I were to allow my focus to stay in that Babylon has deceived us scientifically, medically, and really wants to kill us. They want to dominate us in every way possible. Of course, if I do not take away the focus of my conscience from that, then I'm gonna write what he wrote and a lot worse. But I have the ability of being able to focus other things. For that very reason, I told you last time, I don't know if you understood it, my focus was a bit twisted. I told you, for that very reason, it helps me to watch soccer. Why? Because I changed the focus. I don't want to focus it in Babylon because I embitter myself. I know it exists. It is the forest. I know it exists. Clearly, it exists. But I'd rather focus in something stupid, having the conscience that it exists. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a stupid idiot that is deceived. No. Knowing the dog shit world that I live in and surrounded with the dog shit that rule over us, I know it clearly. I smell it, I feel it, and I know it. I decide
para no vivir
so as to
un
not
día
live
amargado,
embittered in my day, to take the focus from that forest that stinks and I place it in something stupid like soccer, for example. That's just an example. Or tennis.
o tenis. Pero
But
hablando
speaking
de
about
fútbol,
soccer that I told you about the other day that maybe you didn't understand when I told you, in this world that's so dog shit, sometimes watching soccer I just get I entertain myself. Now I'm giving you the technique for all those that didn't understand. Soccer, for me, in my case, doesn't have to be yours. Soccer, in my case, it makes me focus in something that at least my mind enters into rest. Because I enjoy something. I clearly know that the world and what soccer means, in other words, I clearly know.
lo sé claramente.
But that focus, as if to say,
Como decir,
I'll play tennis, but I will focus on the ball seam
la pelota o me voy a
or
enfocar en mi
in my
respiración, o me voy a enfocar
respiration
en el
or
golpe que produce
in
la pelota en mi raqueta,
how
esas cosas que
it
no le
strikes in my the ball strikes the sound it makes against my racket in whatever I want to focus,
eso me hace
because that
desempeñarme
allows me to develop
si me enfoco en lo peor,
better. Because if I
en
focus
lo
on what's
que
worse
me rodea en ese partido,
and
que
what
la gente no
surrounds
está jugando
me,
mejor que yo a
the
la
guy's
pelota
playing
y
better
es
than
mejor
me,
que
he's
yo,
better than me,
entonces ya para eso
then
abandono el partido, me da la
I'll
mierda,
just
que no
let
la juego.
the game leave.
Pero si
I
yo
mean,
logro
forget it, abandon it.
desviar
But
mi
if I'm able
atención
to
de lo que
get my
yo me
attention
está
away
diciendo,
from
estás en un lugar
what
que es
my
de
me is
terror,
telling me that you're in
estás
something
perdiendo
that
y vas a
it's
perder.
terrible because you're
Estás
losing
pasando vergüenza.
and you're just
Si yo me enfoco en otra cosa,
looking
voy a hacer
ridiculous. If I focus on something, I even have a chance to win it.
porque
That's what
sale
happens.
otra cosa.
Something else comes out of me.
Entonces, cuando yo enfoco en
So then
algo
when I focus
que
in
me
something
distrae,
that distracts
que sé
me,
perfectamente
because I
dónde vivo,
perfectly well
el
know
tiempo
where
que
I
vivo,
live in the time that
pero
I
me
live,
dedico
but
al
I
partido de
dedicate
fútbol,
myself to
y
look
ese puede ser
in
muchas opciones para ti,
soccer.
otra opción.
I'll give you other options for
Entonces,
you
eso,
if you want.
entonces pongo
I
mi
look at
enfoque en
that, so
eso,
then I
disfruto
focus
eso.
that, I enjoy
No es
that.
que soy un
It's not that
pelotudo
I'm
que
some
no quiero,
idiot
no
that
quiero saber
I don't want to know
nada del
anything
mundo,
about the world. No, no,
lo
none,
sé
none
todo
whatsoever.
del
I know
mundo.
everything about the world.
Entonces,
So then,
si me dedico a
if I
verlo
dedicate
permanente
myself
así,
to
yo sé
see
que
it
me
on
va
a
a
permanent
terminar
basis
todo
like
como
that,
mal.
I know how it'll
Entonces, como
all
me quiero
end very badly. So
alejar
then,
mi
since I want
foco,
to
mi conciencia,
draw
y
away
no
my
de
focus, my
estar
conscience, my
enfocado en
light
esos
from
hijos de
those sons of
puta,
bitches,
la quiero sacar,
I want to take it out of there. I'll
porque me
focus
gusta.
on something that I like.
Mi conciencia
My
sabe
conscience
dónde
knows
vivo,
where I
mi
live. My
conciencia
conscience
sabe
knows
la
the
existencia de todo a mi
existence of
alrededor, pero
all my
me da paz
surroundings,
mental
but
enfocarme en
it gives
eso
me
y
peace
puedo
to
jugar
focus
el
on that, and I can
partido mejor
play the game better
que estar enfocado en
than to
eso
be
así,
focused in
así
that, just like
mirando
that,
las
just like
noticias.
that,
¿Y ahora
watching
qué
the
hizo
news.
Trump?
And what
¿Y
did
ahora qué hizo
Trump do now?
Netanyahu?
And
¿Qué hijo de mil
Netanyahu,
puta?
what
¿Y
did he
ahora
do
qué?
now? What a son of a
Y
bitch.
mira, y
Well,
ahora y mataron a
and they
este
killed
y
this
todo,
guy,
mira,
and it's
y
all a
ahora
lie.
quieren
And now
sacar,
they
y
want to
ahora
do
van a
this and
plantar
that,
otra
and
vacuna,
now
y ahora
it's
van a
gonna,
inventar otra
they're gonna
pandemia,
do
y ahora
another
China va...
demonium, and now China.
Ya es suficiente
That's
que
it.
yo te
It's
conozca,
enough. It's enough
ay,
that
ya
I've told
sabes
you how
cómo es
everything
esto.
is. If you already know how it
Entonces
is,
falta
that's
que
it.
estés
It's
todo el
over.
día
It
mirando
doesn't
la
need for
próxima
you to
pandemia
see
que va a venir.
what's the
Falta
next
que estés
demonium
todo
that
el día
will come,
mirando
or
cuál
every
es
day
el
to see
plan
what is
nuevo
the
de
new plan
Trump.
of
Va a
Trump.
sacar, me chupa un huevo.
He can suck it.
Se la enseño.
Something
Significa, me importa un carajo.
that we say in Argentina that we say
Lo
he
sé,
can suck an egg.
pero como yo lo
He
sé,
can suck
no te voy a poner mi atención
an
en
egg.
eso. A veces vengo enganchado de lo que
Sometimes I'm
y pido disculpas cuando
focused
digo cosas
in what I
tan
study, and
mierdas
I ask you to forgive me because I come
A
here and I
veces
say
vengo
this is all
enganchado de lo
dog
que
shit.
estudié y
Sometimes
me
because of what I've been
engancho
studying,
con un
I'm way too
partido,
focused.
una
There was no
cosa
game in the middle, something
enganchada.
to
Mi
allow
esposa
me
me
to
hace
unfocus.
caso
My
porque
wife
tengo
allows
que
me
poner
to
todo el
distract
foco
me,
en
but I
ella
have to focus on her
y cambiarlo,
and change it.
por
Of
supuesto.
course,
Eso ya les dije,
I've told you that 1,000 times. Sex, spectacular,
cosas que te hagan sentir
things
bien,
that make you feel
que lo
great
hagas
and that you
bien,
do it
te
well,
desenganchan,
it
no
makes you
puedes tener
unfocused. You
sexo
can't have
pensando
sex
en
thinking in
Babilonia.
Babylon.
Es de terror.
It's
Tenés
terrifying.
que
You have to
enfocar tu atención
focus your
en
attention, your
algo
pleasure
que
into
te-
something
que te dé
that
alegría,
gives
que
you
te
joy,
guste,
that
que
you like, that you
disfrutes,
enjoy,
y el resto se vaya a
and the rest
cagar.
can fuck off.
Entonces saca toda tu
So then
atención
it takes all of your
y en
attention,
sexo,
and you have
o
sex,
miras un
or you
partido de
watch a
fútbol, o
soccer
miras una
game, or a
película. Yo no
movie.
soy el cristiano que
Because I'm not
te
here,
diga que
that
ves
Christian that tells you, oh, the movies are of Satan.
tú en vez de estar
And
mirando
instead of
películas,
watching
deberías
movies,
estar
you should
leyendo
be
la Biblia.
reading the
Yo te digo,
Bible. I tell you,
mira,
no, you'd
lees
better
la
watch
Biblia.
a movie instead of reading the Bible. First of
Si
all,
no la lees a través
because if
de
you
la
don't read
Biblia,
it
que es la
through
verdad
what the
eterna,
eternal
no la
truth
vas a
is, you won't
entender,
understand
te vas
it.
a desviar,
You'll deviate.
lo vas a
To top it
entender
off,
mal,
you'll
y te vas a
misunderstand it,
someter otra vez
and it'll
al
subjugate you once
terror,
again to terror.
hacia el terror.
Just like that, to terror.
Entonces,
So then,
tienen que
You have to learn how to use the focus of the concentration. So then when I read this message and I give you the answer, I've lost all hope. No. Find it again. Look for something that you like. Something I had lost soccer and I did live super embittered because there was no escape for me aside from what my wife is, what surrounds me, escape that I can enjoy of something aside from I already have, and I needed something. And I stopped watching Boca and watching soccer, and I needed it. Oh, how much did I need it for my mental health? That's why I tell you that I find an entertainment in soccer, and that's what I find in tennis. I love watching tennis, and I love playing tennis. I love music. Music has always been something that has distracted me from the world, from my adolescence, from religion, from the teachings that I didn't like. It drew me away from that whole life that I didn't like. It drew me away. And I could tell you it helped me. I'm not going to say that it saved my life. It saved me from very bad, ugly situations music did. Because I could enjoy that. Enjoy that. It would make my soul jump to listen to Iron Maiden back then. There were so many other groups. Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Ozzy Osbourne. All those subjects of those old bands of my time. Even Scorpions and all that music. Alice Cooper. Everything that seemed to be satanic, that would rescue me from the world that I was living in, that I didn't want to be in. And I would focus in that, and I would love it. And those are the stages the pleasant ones that made me live this world of darkness in a more beautiful way. Now, soccer, now that I'm married, my wife, my children, but every time we submerge ourselves in religion, we enter into our dark zone of terror. No religion is beautiful. No teaching in the Bible is nice. It doesn't give you that peace that you think that it gives you. It doesn't give you. It doesn't give it to you. It makes you focus that we're in a world of sin, of perdition, that Satan's working here, that God's going to come and punish, and the first one that he will punish is you because you really are evil. You have it hidden, but you're evil, and you do things, and you have tendencies towards evil because all the sexual tendencies they taught you, they're dirty, and they're towards evil. So then you were taught in the Bible that that's a sin because you're a fornicator in the heart once and for all. So then you punish yourself and you live submerged in the religion that embitters your existence of every day of your fucking life. I've lived it like in a family of an Adventist pastor. The religion embitters your existence. You read these sons of bitches that wrote this, and it only takes for it to be the real law, and you apply it to yourself, and you see yourself as a sinner, and you end up kneeling down, humbling yourself to a supposed Christ that died for you, asking to be forgiven of how miserable you are, of what you don't deserve to obtain because they taught you that you really don't deserve it at all. But by grace, and if you have faith, that Christ will give it to you, and you hold fast to that faith, and you have a miserable life, because you're still a miserable person, that you want something by grace, not by you, because you don't deserve it, and never will a Christian say, I deserve the salvation. He won't say it. It is undeserved. Salvation is undeserved. Any Christian, ask him if he deserves salvation. He'll say, no, I don't deserve it. I received it by grace, but I'm a sinner. And if they don't say that, they're not a Christian. But if they're a Christian, they do say that, and that is in their conscience. And they see the world through the eyes of a sinner, because that is what they are. And they have the focus of their consciousness that they're a vile sinner, that Jesus rescues them of their awful condition. So then, To top it off, the Christians read the Bible to feel good about themselves. Exactly, but not even with that can they feel good. Because they fulfill the commandments, but not even that did they feel great. They feel better than others, but not good. Not even Jesus said he was good. Someone comes and says, oh, good master, this is, don't call me good. Only God is good. Obviously. Evidently. And that is what they live in a focus, in a point of focus that is terrifying in their life. I would escape through music, sports. That's why it's so important to learn the techniques of focus. All this that I'm teaching you is that from here on out, you start to analyze what you're thinking, what you're focusing on. I want for you to really think about it because it is the brutal teaching of today. Because your entire life, you have focused in something. And the worst thing is that we focus things and we don't notice. And being able to change the focus, we don't do so. Answering this question, which says, I've lost all hope, all urge of wanting to live on this planet and just survive every day waiting for the prophecies to be fulfilled. I comprehend you perfectly well. If we focus all day in Babylon, in our consciousness, when you change it and you look for something else, you have to look for something which you like. I'm not saying that it has to be soccer because we're not all the same, but I give you ideas. It could be your own sport. It could be many things. Many things they could be that help you to focus in something else. That's what it has to be, a hobby, a sport, an activity. Exactly. Anything. I mean, anything. You have to change the focus. It is the only way. I had a relative that was marrying an Adventist pastor. This Adventist pastor got with other ladies, sisters there in the church. So then, to the point that he abandoned her with 2 daughters. So then, this relative of mine went back home, her parents' homes with her 2 daughters, already without the pastor, and she fell in bed. In her entire life, she wasn't able to rise up. She would only rise up to go to the bathroom and then back home all day in a brutal depression, which the only thing that in her mind she would focus was the hurt that her husband did to her, the awful hurt that her husband did to her. That is so easy to surpass. Look, I can seem very cruel with what I'm about to say. You in your mind is going to seem cruel. But even to surpass the death of a family member, it's a lot easier when we change the focus. If somebody, one of your family members that is close by, dies, and you spend a whole day, 3 days, 4 days, a whole week, 2 weeks, focused on what you lost, which could be, I don't want to mention, but family member of yours that you love and you lost it, and you can come out of that focus. It'll cost you a lot to surpass it. And what would seem that I would tell you that it would seem that I'm cruel if you change the focus to something else. It is incredible how the healing becomes faster. I'm not saying that all of a sudden you're going to surpass that instantaneously. No, you're going to surpass it a lot faster, and you'll bury mentally your beloved a lot faster than to be thinking of why God allowed, of why they left, and now what are you going to do, and 10,000 things. You're going to surpass it a lot faster if you change the subject and you say, I'm going to play tennis today. Well, today I'll have sex with whatever. I mean, I'm just giving you examples here. Don't mistake them. But that,
al cambiar
by
radicalmente
changing
el
it
foco de la
radically,
cuestión,
the focus of the
tu conciencia.
situation, your consciousness and your life changes because we are what we are in our conscience. And if our conscience, we know that it has a focus. In our entire life, we've heard it to focus somewhere else. But to focus is to concentrate your entire attention into something else consciously. Do you know what it is to put your mind in blank? Is to concentrate in something. It's difficult. That is what it is to meditate. To meditate is not to think, but it's to think in nothing. It is extremely difficult because otherwise, do it, and you'll see how difficult it is. Count the minutes until a thought starts to circulate through your mind. Close your eyes, go like a yogi, like in the position like that, with your hands like that, just to fuck around and don't think at all. You're gonna see that immediately your mind starts to say, "What are you thinking about? No, remember this, that." You can't leave your mind in blank. It takes a long time. If you're able to leave your mind in blank, you start to be masters of concentration. Like also what I tell you, when you play and do something, concentrated in something, and if you're able to concentrate in something, you'll be able to develop a virtue that will change your humor. If you are worried that your husband or wife is cheating on you, and that is where your focus is, you have to ask yourself this: does it really matter? The answer will be no. If it's not convenient to be with that person, if you don't want to separate yourself and they deceive you, how the fuck would it affect you? You might be saying, what the fuck is Christian saying? But I'm asking you. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm telling you, you're married. Why does it matter if they cheat on you or not? If you say, actually, it really doesn't affect at all. If it doesn't affect you at all, then take out that thought that he deceives you and change it to something else. Change it to something that you like, and you'll see how it will no longer affect you. Maybe he wasn't even deceiving you or cheating on you. The jealousy would go away, and if it did cheat on you, it's his problem. Why do you get upset? Unless you want to get divorced. And you can get divorced even if they don't cheat on you. You don't need proof of that. If the things aren't doing well and you analyze it well, that's it. So, and you evaluate what's convenient for you. Maybe that's convenient for you. But maybe it's convenient for you to be married and not to be thinking whether your husband or wife is cheating on you. It is all about beliefs and where we place our focus. It's incredible what we can do with our mind if we place the focus in something else. When we place the focus in a person, we're always looking at the defects and what they're going to say immediately. We already know that we're going to think what we think in the focus that we want to use. If we take the focus away from that person that bothers you, you no longer see them. And they don't bother you anymore. You have a boss. And the boss is actually unfair with you, and he really makes you feel bad, and every day you work he makes you feel bad, and you come home with a bad attitude because you have a boss that's dog shit. You have the option of leaving, quitting, but you can't because you earn well and it's difficult to get a different job. So then what can I tell you? An advice, so that you start to amplify from all the things that I've told you, that you amplify them even more. That you say, what am I focusing on? I focus the boss that mistreats me. And every mistreatment that he gives me, for me, it's evil because I'm focused on that. It's like a telescope. It's a copy. When I focus a rifle with the telescope, I'm not focusing the whole entire forest. I'm focusing just a little animal that simple eyesight, maybe you can't see it, but my focus is that animal, and I want to place the bullet right there. So then that is our focus right there with the telescopic view. We don't care about anything. We care about that right there, my dear, that my boss right there, that son of a bitch right there. But when you grab, take, and say, in that situation, I'm not going to focus my boss anymore. I'm going to focus something else. Focus my job like he doesn't exist. Like every time he comes up, oh, what he did, I'll take it out. I don't focus on that. I'll focus on something else. like in a
No
tennis
quiero enfocarme que
game. I'm not gonna focus on that the guy mistreats me. I mean, I don't want to focus on that. I'm gonna focus
en la pelota.
on the ball.
Me voy a
I'm
enfocar
gonna
en cómo
focus
respiro.
on how my respiration, my breathing.
Nada más. No me enfoco en
And
cómo
I
me
don't,
sentí
nothing else. I'm not gonna focus on how the guy is that I'm playing with, Carlitos Alcara. No, I don't care.
con Armando
Maybe I'm playing with Armando
Rodríguez.
Rodriguez, who was super bad because I would always beat him. He was good, but I would always beat him.
Con Alcaraz.
Who am I playing? Not with Alcara, but with Armando.
Ya está.
And that's it. It's over. I don't care.
La pelota.
I'll focus on the ball or my breathing
En sentir
or to feel the sensation of my racket when it strikes the ball.
cosas que
Those are things that nobody pays the attention to, but a tennis player that starts to develop it and he starts to feel the vibrations in the sense he knows where he struck in the center, above, lower,
cercano de costado.
closer to the side.
Y lo empezás a sentir.
You start to feel it in your hands.
Pequeñas.
Small things.
Enfocar en eso, ¿no?
That I want to
No
focus
importa
that.
dónde mando la
I
pelota,
don't
no
care
importa.
where I send the ball. I don't care about that, but just to feel the ball.
Ser cada vez mejor
And you
jugador,
start to be
cosas
better
increíbles.
every time.
Es impresionante.
Incredible thing that's impressive. So then, instead of focusing in your boss,
Te enfocas
you
en
focus
qué bien
in
luce,
how good your boss looks,
cómo se viste.
how the guy dresses,
Y desenfocas
and
cómo
you
te ves.
unfocus how he treats you.
Enfocas
You
en la
focus
vestidura de cada
in
uno.
the
Vas a
dressing
ver
of
cómo
everyone.
se
You're going to
combinan
see
los
how everyone
colores,
dresses,
cómo se combinan
and
los
you learn, okay, how do they combine the colors? Things like that.
y desenfocas
And you
eso.
unfocus that.
Menos piensas,
When you
practicas
least
y
expect it
cuando
and you
tu
practice,
enfoque
and when
automático
your
es
automatic
enfocar
focus
que se
is, I want
trató
to
mal,
focus
que
that he mistreats you, he yelled at you,
lo desenfocas
you unfocus it,
y lo enfocas en otra cosa.
you focus on something
Menos
else.
te des cuenta,
When you
ya
least
no te
expect it,
afecta,
it no longer affects you.
no te trata
He
tan
no
mal
longer treats you so
como
bad like
pensabas
you
que
used
te
to
trataba.
think he would treat you.
Porque una cosa
Because one
es
thing
enfocar
is
a un
to
ciervo
focus
con
a
una mira
deer with a
telescópica a través de los
telescope
árboles,
through the trees,
pero
but
cuando
when
sacas
you
ese
take that
foco,
focus out,
al
you no
ciervo.
longer see the
Pero
deer.
si lo miras,
But if you
está
look at
ahí,
him, he's there.
está
It
ahí.
is there.
Sacas ese
But if you
foco,
take that focus
está
out, it's no longer there.
Entonces, ¿cuál es
So
el
then,
problema?
what is the
¿Nosotros
problem
o
of the
nosotros? Es
people
nuestro.
or us? The problem is
Es donde
ours.
enfoco.
It is where I focus. If I focus in the Ten Commandments and I'm super upset
Porque soy un pecador.
because I'm a sinner,
Si yo enfoco
if I focus
en la verdad
in the
eterna,
eternal truth,
soy un Dios.
I'm a God.
Porque la verdad eterna-
Because the eternal
la
truth,
verdad eterna
the eternal
dice que
truth
soy un
teaches
Dios.
me that I'm a God.
Entonces, ¿dónde quiero enfocar?
So then, where do I
Si voy
want
al
to focus? If I go to
cristianismo,
Christianity, I
soy un
focus, I'm a
pecador
vile
que
sinner
necesita un
that
Salvador,
needs a
y
Savior
una salvación
and
inmerecida.
a salvation that is undeserved. If I focus the Arabs, then of course, I know what they're going to say. And if I focus the eternal truth, and they say, let's see what they say. I'm a God. I am. I am. Yes, I am. I have the power. And you learn to say, I have the power. And you have the power of focusing and unfocusing wherever the fuck you want. And the problems in your life is that you've always focused everything wrong. And it happens to me. And I have to be refocusing. I have to be refocusing. It is a technique that in the measure that you learn it, to focus it and unfocus it, it becomes easier. Because up until now that I've talked to you, the most probably that you didn't even have conscience of what the fuck you focused on. But now that I've taught you that, I want you that from here on out, every reaction of yours that's emotional, you analyze in what am I focusing to have that reaction? What am I focusing on? And if it's convenient, to change the focus. When you have a problem, don't focus the problem, focus something else. And you'll see how the problem starts to leave from your life. And the problem wasn't so huge. Do you know that? They train the police and the army also in something that's difficult to take out of humans, but that's how they train them. And I'll share it with you. I've told you this once before. In the moment in which there is high tension, in other words, all of a sudden, you see some guy that has a gun and you hear a shotgun and you have a weapon and you try to defend, whether it's police or the army or whatever, in a human being, not training where to place your focus. There is an effect that I can't remember right now what it's called, and you enter into a way of consciousness that is very unuseful. Your eyes
se ponen en una visión de un túnel. O sea,
get
toda
tunnel
la
vision. In other words,
perspectiva
your
que
whole
la pierdes.
surrounding, you lose it. You focus on something. Your breathing is
No puedes
cut off. You can't.
no puedes respirar.
Oh, you can't breathe.
Hay una descarga
There
de
is a
adrenalina.
discharge of adrenaline in your body.
Tu oído
Your ear
se agudiza o se borra, depende
either
de la
you
situación.
deafens you or you become more acute. Depending on the situation, you don't think normally or quickly because you are terrified.
Y entonces
And so then you lose
segundos importantes,
important seconds and you lose logic in many things that could cost your life or other people's lives. Because this whole situation took you to focus in fear.
aunque tengas un arma,
Even if you have a weapon, mind you,
es tan loco la situación
the
que
situation's so crazy that the guy comes out shooting anywhere because he is grabbed by insanity. They can't really reason correctly. Okay, so then what they teach you in the situations of the guy that has to deal with those situations, and I teach them to you, is that immediately that's going to take hold of you when something happens. You're at home and you hear the window break, and so then the first reaction, it's a discharge of adrenaline and all the rest. How do you get out of that? You have to snap out through your breathing, nothing else. You have to focus everything, your whole concentration in feeling your breathing. Feel it, and don't care what, even if it's a whole chaos around you. If there's shots, blood, bodies, don't worry about it. You have to get out, snap out of it, or else you're no good. And you come out fast out of that. When you concentrate all of your attention in breathing, you don't care about the rest, even if you have a weapon, mind you. Even if you have a weapon, if you want to use it effectively, you have to recuperate yourself. That's first of all, because if you have tunnel vision, I'll think you'll get as many shots on top of you, and maybe you'll shoot at people that you should not have shot. That is what happens. That is what happens. So then, first thing, if you want to be useful, then you have to concentrate your attention in the breathing. There's no other way. There's no other way. I've already told you, gotta practice. You'll feel that rush of adrenaline. You'll feel it. There's no way for you not to. There's no way for me to tell you, thinking this, and you will not get that adrenaline rush. It'll happen to you. You will get the adrenaline rush. So then if you get to that situation and you get that adrenaline rush, you already have to know that you have to concentrate it in your breathing. Slow, deep, and feel it. No matter what's going on around you. Doesn't matter. And you see how you'll start to recuperate your normal attention. The pulsations of the heart go down because it oxygenates. Just like the guy that was asking us about oxygen. It oxygenates the brain also, and you'll be able to think. Focus. It's the focus of concentration. It's the secret. In the accident, the same thing. In an accident, it's exactly the same thing. Those who react quickly, it is because they recuperate the focus of concentration sooner than the rest, which are just paralyzed. Like deer in the headlights right there. They lost it. They've lost all focus of what's going on around them and what they should do. They can't do it. Because they are paralyzed by the terror. Because their entire focus is in what's happening and they can't snap out of it. There are people bleeding. They could be bleeding themselves. You gotta get out of a car in flames. They can't react. On the other hand, there are guys that dominate the focus a little bit more. They unfocus from what's happening, and as they can, they help the rest, help them to people say, how did you do it? It's on the focus. But your life is surrounded of what you focus. If you focus the ugly situations of home, it'll always be hell at home. If you focus things that are pleasant and unfocus the nasty ones, you won't see the nasty ones. They're there. Just like everything happens in your body right now, this very instant they're there, but you're not paying attention because you're paying attention to me. So then the rest is, it fades away. How many sounds have happened and you didn't even hear them, but you did hear them? But your attention of your consciousness, which is your light, did not give it any attention, paid no mind to it, because it's something that you direct to do it. That's the same thing that you have to do in every aspect of your life. In every aspect of your life. When you criticize a person, take the focus of the criticism of that person, so as to not live your life criticizing that person. If it's your mother-in-law, the things that your mother-in-law does and you can't stand her, take them out. What's going on? I'm focusing in that witch. Let's focus on something else. That's the way it is. Take the focus out. And you'll see that the witch disappears from your life. Why is the witch in your life? Because you give her enough focus, don't give her focus. To all things that I'm teaching you, all of it, the problems, you get up and your house is dirty because your kids got it dirty. You always start to protest about the kids that get it dirty. The same yelling, and it's for years yelling. Why? No, I've told you 1,000 times. How do you leave everything on the floor where you shouldn't? Don't focus that, focus something else. Focus in a different teaching, but don't focus in that which makes you yell. Because you can change your whole personality depending on where you place the focus of attention. That is why the consciousness is light. Consciousness is a light. You see how when a year ago I explained this text, which says as follows, this text, which I wasn't thinking about teaching it today, but it applies because I'll teach it differently, and when we get there, I'll explain it again differently, because today I want you to learn to focus and unfocus. I want you to consciously, to ask yourselves, what am I focusing my life on? What am I focusing it on? If it's good for you, then continue to focus there. First of all, focus here, the eternal truth. Don't lose that focus. It's convenient to you. It's good for your life. It gives you freedom. Afterward, what I teach you of what Babylon is, the lies, deceit, NASA. During the week, I'm focused on that dog shit. Don't be thinking, oh, the NASA son of a bitch, this pharmakeia son of a bitch, and you get up and you're watching videos and you look for another video. Look at what this doctor discovered now, that this and that. What the fuck do you care? You already know that they're bad or whatever. The vacuum cleaners, you've already learned it. There's no need for you to have your attention focusing over the last video that has been discovered of this association, that really this time it's discovered that they had this component. But you already knew that. Unfocus that. You're going to go crazy. Unfocus that. You've learned it. You know it. That's it. Change the focus. You've learned that the earth is flat, absolutely flat. Take the focus off. Somebody asked me, which should be listening to me, saying, I'm going to read it here before giving you the text. I don't want to forget the text that I told you. Here it is. Here's the text that I gave you. And now somebody asked me something in here, which I want to read once and for all. I'm going to answer it since we're in the subject. It reads as follows. I'm going to answer it once and for all. Very simply, and if you like it, and if not, that's Daniel Santillar 4000. A year ago, he wrote to me, I ask you to consider the earth, the flat earth. I think it's holding you back of many things like the greatness of the universe and the existence of billions and billions of other places with life. A simple investigation without the theories of the conspiracy. For the love of the truth, I ask you, I just ask you that you'll earn, that for you to do an investigation to the deepest. I can share lots of material of people that are actually people that have no interest, that have debunked the flat earth. Just give me the opportunity of giving you this information. Look at this. Look here, Daniel Santillan. Look, I come from where you come. There is no evidence that you can offer me of what I measured. What I measured is that there's no curvature. If there's no curvature and the water does not bend, then There is no curvature whatsoever. No matter what you try to explain to me, without any evidence that there's billions of galaxies without anything, you come with stupid things, books. They can suck a ball or three. Don't even bother in writing a single evidence for me. I measured that there is no curvature, and that's it, it's over. There's no need for any evidence that you want to show me in order for me to say, oh, so then there is some curvature. Is it a lot bigger? The sphere is so much bigger. There isn't. If there's no curvature and the water does not bend under any circumstance, what are you trying to convince me about? You think I'm a fucking idiot that all of a sudden anyone comes along with a little story and they can convince me, oh yeah, it's a sphere now. In order to convince me that it was flat, I had to prove it myself, to measure it myself, to make lines myself, because I wasn't going to be convinced with what anybody would tell me. That happened back in 2015. It's been 10 years ago or 11 already. So then there is no, I'm not trying to say stupid evidence, but they are, that you can convince me that there are lost civilizations. There isn't. There isn't. Because this, where we live, is flat in a way that is astoundingly clear. So that there's no need for you to tell me, give me the chance, please allow me. You've had the chance already. And I've told you, I've measured it and it's flat, period. There's no curvature, there isn't. You can't measure not even a small angle of curvature. And even less the curvature that they say that this earth has. So then I'm talking about I'm not even talking about the curvature of the stupid science of today. Talking about a curvature that is, let's say, a little softer of a world that's a lot bigger. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's no curvature because the physics of the water could not stay in one place. Because gravity does not exist, as science teaches that a ball or a mass has its attraction towards the center that is alive. Science has never been able to prove that an object, no matter what the mass is, generates an attraction towards the center of the object. So then, when we understand that gravity does not exist as they say it exists, this is, it falls by its own weight. There's an electromagnetic attraction, but it's not what they say, that is generated by the mass of the object where they're standing. It isn't so. So then, once you understand that it cannot be round, that gravity that they say does not exist, then how do you think that you can convince me that there are other civilizations and planets? You're reading, or you belong to other groups that believe in Martians, in those that come from Centurion. Those things, with me, have no, they just don't fit. They just cannot enter. This earth was created by one being, one sole being, and it was created where he lived also, in the very same plane in which he lived. It's just that he enclosed it. He said this will be called earth, and he placed a cover above, a cover which is water. That is why he says the water above and the water below. He put a cover. We cannot come out from here because he enclosed us. It is a prison, a huge prison. And if I'm focused that I'm in a prison, I'll go crazy. I'm not going to focus that it's a prison. I look for soccer, tennis, music, this, movies, something else. And when I have to focus on the subjects that I have to give, I have to focus in what I have to focus. But I'm not going to be focusing all day in this. But this is a reality. Maybe it doesn't look like this, but that it's flat, it's flat. Water, in no circular surface does it work. It doesn't work. So then there's nothing that you can convince me about but rather there's lots to convince you about. You measured. Daniel, did you measure whether there's a curve? Did you measure whether there's a curve? That in 6 kilometers that you should not see a person standing. I saw it in more than 20 kilometers, which means that there is no curvature. Ever since the telescopes with lots of zoom were invented, the stupid shit is over. The boats would sink. The one who has to learn is you. Come out of the stupid shit that you believe in, other stupid worlds that don't exist under any aspect, and I don't care. Because if there is another God that created other things, they're not part of this, and they're not turning around this. They're in a different dimension. Maybe a little separated. I'm not going to argue that. But it's not what you see. What you see, every celestial point or lights, it's little LED lights. Divine technology. There's no life in any of them. The sun is tiny, the moon is tiny, and the rest, those who say that they are stars, they're fucking LED lights. If you don't want to believe what I'm telling you, Daniel, then you can suck one. That's the way it is. But don't come at me trying to convince me that there's the possibility. I think that it's a sphere. When I measured it and it's flat as the fucking bitch that bore you. What you have to do, Daniel, is buy yourself a good camera with lots of zoom in a place where there's little dust, because the dust augments, as well as the humidity that there is in the environment. It works like a lens, and it starts to distort, like what I talked about in the focus, and start to measure, and you'll notice that there's no curvature. And when you see that there's no curvature, you're going to say, what the fuck am I believing in? Of course Christian is right, and I'll welcome you. Welcome, Daniel. That subject is an odyssey, right? Yes, it's an odyssey. Yes. Yes. Who says? It's found in Odyssey. It's not here. The subject is an odyssey. It's an odyssey. The flat Earth, ours, of 2015. It's an odyssey. Okay. Or look for it in Odyssey in our channel right there in the video you're watching. You have the Odyssey address, or Rumble too. It's in both. Place both of them. Put the flat Earth in my channel, Odyssey, and you'll find it there. But Daniel doesn't want to listen. He already knows what. But it's a lot more than I continued after that. So I continued to measure after that video. It's not something stupid. I continue to measure. That's why I tell you that it's a lot more than that subject. You go out there and measure. Go out and measure what they say and what is real, and you'll notice. Very well. So then, the focus. This explanation, let us go to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 1. Where are we? Chapter 1. 19. So are the paths of all who are given into coveting, which taketh the life from those who possess her. The covetry, to covet, is a type of focus of your conscience, which focuses that of the other, or not. If, for example, the commandment of the Ten Commandments is thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, it's like as if I were to say, don't focus your neighbor's wife. Don't focus your neighbor's wife. Don't cover the house of your. Don't focus in your focus. It's as if you desire. Do you understand? And then the covetry with the focus that I'm talking about, the concentration of your consciousness. Let's say today I've taught you, and we talked about many terms. Conscience, which is the thinking part that receives the input of the five senses, and aside from that, it can look outwardly and inwardly. And it has the capacity of focusing the focus wherever she wants. The consciousness does. Inwardly, outwardly, and whatever she wants, and with the strength and whatever size that she wants. If we understand that, then we have to think that we own that consciousness, we have to dominate that consciousness. So then, if our consciousness is centralized in another man's wife and focuses her and looks at her through the consciousness that's focused, taking the husband from the picture because I'm focusing her, that is covetry because I'm desiring to have that. Whether it's a living object or a dead object or without life, a car, a house, money. So then, I want you to understand that aspect. Covetry is like the focus of concentration of the consciousness. Now, is there good covetry that is good? I have to tell you, well, if we see that covetry as the focus of attention, there are things that are good. Because if you focus in a career, it's kind of like, I'm going to use, maybe this is a bad term, but I don't care. I covet to have that title, then I will obtain it. Since I obtain it studying, it's not covetry, but desire. So then we change it, but if I look at it like if it was a focus, and my goal is to obtain that, then, of course, I call it with a different name. You know it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Because right now I'm coveting something that doesn't belong to anyone, that in my right, if I make an effort, I can obtain it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, notice, covetry, if my neighbor has a car, and I look at it and I covet it, and I say, well, if I make an effort, I can buy a car just like that. But it's still covetry, because I did it through the desire of having that car. Since I can't steal it, I'll buy one just like it. Is that covetry or not? It is to covet. If the motive of buying yourself a car is because your neighbor bought it and you can't be less than them, you can't be less, it's covetry or not. If your motive is to say, oh, what a beautiful car, he bought himself that car. And later you say, hey, I could also have a car, a new car. I'm always saving money. Oh, beautiful, makes me happy. I'm going to buy another car. That's not covetry anymore. It's an inspiration. But it is a very fine line of saying, I desire, I deserve it. How is it that that son of a bitch has that? It is very different to the inspiration of, oh, wow, he's right. He fixed the house. I'm also going to fix the house. He also painted the house. I'm also going to paint the house. It looks good. His looks beautiful. Mine looks beautiful. There's a difference between covetry and inspiration. Okay, but it is basically, it is where you put your focus. So then, in the intensity you give it. So then, covetry says, so are the paths of everyone that is given unto covetry, which taketh away the life of their possessors. Exactly. If you focus in something that will bring evil to your life, you'll end up badly. If I focus in the evil of this world, what will I have in my life? Evil. I can assure you, and that's answering the question of the one that asked me, if I focus in the pharmakeia that assassinates the people by the millions, but if I focus every day and every day of my life, I'm going to end up badly.
Una cosa es
I'll end up
aprender de la
badly.
forma aquella
One
y
thing is to
evitarla,
learn from the pharmakeia and avoid it, and another is to focus my attention in it.
porque eso es mal.
That is evil. That is what evil is. And if I focus my attention in what's evil, I bring my life is bad.
Porque mi atención está
Because
en
my
eso.
attention is in
Si
that.
yo soy policía,
If I'm a
y
cop
enfoco la
and I
atención
focus
en
my
los
attention in the
criminales,
criminals
y no tienen una
and
vida
they
linda
don't
los
have a
policías porque están
nice
siempre
life
buscando el crimen.
because they're always looking for
Entiendan
criminals.
eso. Si yo me dedico a abrir
I want you to
cadáveres,
understand that if
y
my
estoy todo el día mirando
business is
cadáveres,
to
mi
open
atención está en los cadáveres.
open
Si yo me dedico a
cadavers,
hacer cosas
then
más creativas,
I'll be all day thinking about that. If I dedicate myself
mi
in
conciencia,
doing something much more creative, then my consciousness changes. My
es otra
consciousness
cosa.
is something else.
Es lo que
It
yo quiero
is
hacer
of
con
what I
ellos.
want to do
Si
with
yo
it. If
arreglo
I
autos
fix
como
cars
Minto,
like
y
Minto,
están chocados,
and
vienen
they're
feos,
crashed
y
and
los
they're
pongo
nasty
lindos,
and
y
I
los
make them look
pinto, y se van
nice
como un auto
and I
nuevo,
paint them,
eso trae alegría a mi
that
conciencia,
brings
porque es creación,
joy to my conscience because it's
preparación,
creation and
belleza.
reparation and beauty.
Si yo me dedico a chocar autos,
If I crash cars,
entonces,
then, for example,
soy malo, y entonces
I'm
quiero
evil,
cobrar seguros
and
y
of course,
ando chocando autos, eso traigo a mi vida.
that is what I bring to my
Entonces, yo
life.
no puedo
So then I cannot
dedicarme
dedicate
a
myself
concentrar mi
to
atención
concentrate
en
my
el mal del mundo.
attention in the evil of the
Por
world.
más que ustedes me vean a
Even
mí
if you
puteando
see
y
me
dejando,
insulting and
yo
all the
quiero que
rest,
aprendan algo de
I
mí,
want you to learn something from me.
que aprendan a
I want you to learn
desconcentrar
to
el mal, el bosque lleno de maldad,
deconcentrate the evil, the forest full of evil, into concentrating something that makes that evil that you know exists to fade away. We're not idiots. We're conscious that it exists, but I don't want to bring it into my focus. I want my focus to be something better.
Entonces,
So then,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
en la forma
in
de
the way
Mesías,
of, in the form of the Messiah, gives us a message
pero
that is spectacular.
Claro,
Of course, explained in how I explained it today. The last time I explained it, I explained it in a different way. The text is as follows: Matthew 6:26. Actually, it's Matthew 6:22 through 23, which reads as follows: The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee... Okay, wait. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? I've explained that the eye, that eye, is the covetry and avarice. That is a good explanation which I gave, but now I'm going to give an explanation that's a lot deeper and helpful with this text. When the Messiah, the usurper, which was Yahweh, said, and what he said, he spoke to it in a parable, and it is concealed that right now I can open for you to understand. The light of the body is thine eye. It is clear that it is talking about, oh, Matzah's here. Matzah's here. Hello, Matzah. She wants to learn. Don't drop anything. Just don't drop anything. She dropped the ball last time. It almost went to the floor. Also, Matzah, don't cut the transmission off. No, it's fine. There it is. Fine. Okay. Now, when Yahweh, the Creator, in the form of the Messiah, said, the light of the body is the eye, what he's saying is, first of all, he'll say it later, but he's not saying it now, but he makes you understand what I've just said. That's why I said the consciousness is your light. I want to highlight that, which you've learned today, things that are completely new. The consciousness is your light. If we have light in us, it is our consciousness. When we don't have consciousness, we won't have light. It's turned off. But our consciousness is the light. And our eyes and our senses and our consciousness has the capacity of focusing whatever she wants. Outwardly, to whatever she wants to concentrate her light in, to shine upon like a telescope, or inwardly, in our remembrances, in us, in what we feel, That is all that has our consciousness has the capacity to do so, which is our light. So then I'll start to explain. The lamp of the body is the eye. What the Messiah is saying is that through the eye, we can focus and take into account, I'm telling you exactly what he said. The focus of our light is the eye, so you understand. Our consciousness is the light, and we're going to focus through our eyes in whatever we want to see. That is where we go. I'm explaining a parable. So then if your eye is good, your whole body shall be full of darkness. If you focus some good things, it doesn't say that you act like the fool and to never look at what's evil as if it doesn't exist, to live in a world of Mary, not Mary, of Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. He's not saying that. He says, look, act like an idiot. No. Live in a fantasy and don't look around. No. Talking about the focus. The focus of your attention. So then it says, if the attention, if the focus of your light is good, then your body will be full of light. Because you're looking for the focus in good things. There are many bad things to focus on. That is clear. The reality, the Bible, Yahweh. Many bad things to focus on. And you want to live in misery? Focus it then if you want. But if you focus in good things, your body is full of light. The Messiah continues to explain. But if your light is evil, your whole body will be in darkness. If your focus, your eye with which you focus is evil, in other words, not that it's referring to it being evil, but that it focuses bad things. They don't have to be. Take the sinful part out of it. It's not what it's referring to. It's referring to bad things, which could be, I've told you, the Bible, Yahweh, reality, pharmakeia, not of bad things, as if to say, I don't know, things that you should not watch. No, it's not talking about that. It's talking about the world gives you lots of experiences. You have to be conscious in where you live, but where do you place your focus? If your eye is evil, your focus was evil in this world, your whole body will be in darkness. That is what happens to us when we focus bad things. When I focus religion and prophecies all day, then I'd be in a bad mood all day. I have to unfocus. I'm telling you the truth. And if I stay thinking about that, I come and give you a subject that is dog shit. Because I have the focus there. I never unfocused it. I have to focus it on other things. That is the reality. So then, if he continues to say it, Yahweh, the Creator, that knows this, what He created. So then, if the light that is in thee, if the consciousness that is in thee is darkness, so then if that light, you fill it with bad things that embitter your being, how great is that darkness? How bad will it be for you? That is what it's saying. You no longer want to live. Because you say, I live in a world that's a lie. Science deceives me. It's all dog shit. My parents are deceived. Where I go to work, they're sons of idiots. They're idiots. They're all stupid idiots. Religions are all a lie. Everything that surrounds me is deceit. And people don't notice. And I wish to awaken them. It is not your mission to awaken them now. It is not. I want you to understand that. But if your focus is continuously that, your life will be miserable. And you will want for you to end already, for the prophecy to come already, for it to be fulfilled already. And that's precisely what we're falling many times. Many of us, and I'm also guilty of that, of course, and based on the experience do I speak to you about. We should not fall into that. That's why I told you. You have to look for something that distracts you. I said about soccer last time. Maybe you mistook it. How are you going to say soccer? Look for something you like. You like baseball, that's your problem. For me, it would be the darkest of darkness to watch that. I'd rather watch Pharmakeia, what they do, than to watch baseball. But you look what you like. Look what you like. Look for what you like. Go to music recitals. Focus on something that make you feel that you're alive. And that know it, that this dog shit world surrounds you, but as long as you're here, you have to do good. It is not the mission of the Messiah to live embittered, waiting, counting the days until everything is fulfilled, and so then to live protecting yourself of all the evil that surrounds you in a cave, hidden, until the great Messiah comes. No, experience the world, experience it. Knowing where you live, knowing about things that are convenient and what's not convenient, experience the world. Focus in something else. Be conscious of the reality, but focus on something else. Look at how it says in the New Living Translation in Matthew 6:22. Your eye is a lamp for your body. Your focus of your consciousness gives the experience and the light to your life. When your eye is good, there is sunshine into your life, but an evil eye shuts out the light and plunges you in the darkness. But when it's good, it's pure of sunshine because you focus on good things. But when your eye is evil, your focus, your whole body is filled with darkness. Of course, you want this experience to end. It happens to me many times until I discovered this about the focus, and I can transmit it to you. But when your eye is bad, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep is that darkness? Exactly. It is light to know what Babylon is. It is light to know what Babylon is. I'll repeat this again. Maybe you didn't understand and you misfocused. It is light to know what Babylon is. It is darkness to be watching Babylon all day to criticize them. That is what darkness is. To say Pharmakeia, and every day I'm watching Pharmakeia videos. I mean, what do I care? I'm not going to watch one sole video of that. Not one sole video against the vacuum cleaners. No one sole, I just won't watch it. I just don't. I don't care. I know you send me things. I know. I don't want to offend you. You did it with the best of intention. I know you guys send me videos like that. They're like, look, watch. I could give a fuck. I've already told you what it's about. I don't submerge myself in that whole terror. I don't want to know that the doctor's there and that he said, and this time it's discovered, and now you have this component that nobody knew about, and that this and that, and now the people are noticing. I could give a fuck. I knew about this. I don't focus on it anymore. I've already said it back then. Don't mark yourself. Don't use this and that. Don't poke yourself. And that's it. That's it. It's over. If I'll be all day watching those videos, how the fuck do you think that I'll end up filled with darkness and bitterness, anger, what they're doing with people? They're killing it. I can get it. Sucks a ball. It can suck a ball. It has to suck a ball on you too. Send me a video. Look at the religions. Look at what they're saying. Look at the Jews. Look at the Christians. Look at what this guy discovered. I know you're going to do it with the best of intentions. Look at this. Look at who's dominating. Look at what the Jews are doing. You think that I don't know? That I need some idiot to come along to tell me that the Jews are doing this or that? When I've told you even who did the First World War, the Second World War, I've given you with luxury of details. You think I'm living of the YouTube videos to see what they say? The last one that took the last one against Judaism, I repeat it. They can suck a ball, and they should suck a ball on you too. Don't watch those videos. You've accepted what I've already told you who Babylon is. You've accepted it. Then don't be watching those videos. When you see them, then unfocus that. You already know about it. You already know about it. Look for recipes. How do you make something which you don't know how to make? Look for that attention and you say, I'm going to do something. I forgot to say this. The focus of attention is Leslie, should we do this today? And that's it. And we start to do something complicated. We start to do it because we like it. And then later, and it fattens and fuck it all to hell. But my focus is there. It makes me happy. It makes me happy. If I start to think about the last thing about the war in Ukraine, it can suck a ball. What Putin does and the fucking bitch that bore him, I could give a fuck. I could give a fuck. But the people are suffering. I care that the people are suffering. I want them to stop suffering. But I want to add myself to the suffering. I know they're suffering. They're conscious. I know that it's an assassination. I know that it's an ethnic cleansing. I know what Israel is doing, taking over those places, and the U.S. also. I know it's all rigged. I know. Do I have to be submerged in all that darkness? No, no, no. I know it, and I'll focus something else. I'll watch Boca Racing. I'd much rather be embittered by losing. I enjoy it more than to live and to watch the world that I live in. In other words, to feel the world I live in. I see it, I know it. But I look for a distraction, knowing I don't want to escape. I'm not looking for a planet to escape to, something crazy of enclosing myself to not see. No. I'm conscious of it. I'm conscious. When it's necessary, I'll go back and I'll see it. And I say, I know who you are. I know who you are. I know what you're going to do. That's fine. Continue. I'm going to watch some soccer. That's the way it is. And that's how I share it with you. Look for what makes you feel good. If it's to listen to music, if it's to go and watch a movie, or to watch a movie at home, or watch 10,000 movies at home, or to go eat out, or to learn to cook better, don't enclose yourself in the conspiracy theories, because you do go crazy. You live submerged with your bad, evil eye. One thing is that they say things that are good, and another is that they add a whole bunch of stupid things. And they insert that in your mind and your being to the conspiracies, and the conspiracy theories are not happy. They're not laughing all day, the conspiracy theories. They're not. Because you're there in the last conspiracy. Who killed Charlie Clerk? It was the wife. No, it was not the wife. It was Israel because he spoke against Israel. Yes. And where did the bullet come from? My answer is, it can suck a ball of mine. It can suck a ball of mine. What do I care who killed Charlie Clerk? It can suck a ball, and you, what did they have to do to you? To suck a ball on you. Repeat it. What should it do? Haiti doesn't want to say it. Haiti, what do women can also say that? What do they have to do? Haiti, what do you have to do? No. I'm teaching you. They have to suck a ball of mine. It means I give a fuck. I could give a fuck about that. Oh, wow. What I have to teach you and explain to you. You have to say and repeat with me. They have to suck a ball on me. It's an Argentinian expression that has nothing to do with an egg of anything. They can suck an egg of mine. It says I could give a fuck. What do you mean I give a fuck? It can suck a ball of mine. So that's it. It's over. So then don't get enclosed in those things. So then the magnificent answer, that's spectacular, is today there's been some time of watching some videos of information. No, not that. Oh, no, not that. I didn't have to give that one. I didn't have to present that. It was not for today. Okay, it was this one. It says, well, okay, that's it. So it's lost already. This one, I'm 35 years old and I've lost all hope. No. Don't focus. Analyze today. What was your focus in that this world is dog shit? We take the focus out. I don't want to live in this plane anymore. I just survive every day waiting for the prophecies to be... Don't even focus on the prophecies because they're so slow. Don't live focusing the prophecies. I've lived it. I've experienced it. It's such torture. When you think they're going to be fulfilled, they don't. So then you go to another explanation and you think they're going to be fulfilled, they don't. So then the prophecies, they can suck a ball of mine. That's it. It's all. So then I think that there's no more need to study. Of course you should study. It's just that by focusing on what's going to happen, you no longer want to study. No, go ahead and study. Study whatever you want. Whether you complete it or not, study. Is it good to study? Of course it's good to study. In fact,
con solo sacarte el foco
with just taking
de-
away
de
the
donde hay que
focus
sacarlo
of
de
where
este
you should
mundo,
take it
entonces
away
vale la
from
pena
in this
estudiar.
world, then it's good
Dice,
to study.
trabajar,
It is to work,
creando un futuro,
creating a future,
proyectar a largo
projecting
plazo, proyectar a largo
to
plazo.
the long
Yo
term.
proyecto de acá a miles de años.
I project to
Proyectar a
thousands
largo
of
plazo.
years.
¿Cuál es el
Long
problema?
term. What's the
Proyectar a
problem
largo
to
plazo.
project to a
Proyectar a
long
largo
term?
plazo. Esta
Project
casa
to the
cuando la
long term.
compré y
This
la
house,
estoy
when I
pagando,
bought it
no pienso en ningún
and I'm
momento
paying for it,
postergarla,
I don't think
Esta casa yo
to have
proyecto
this.
tenerla por miles de
I
años.
project this
Usted
house to have it for
proyecte
thousands of years. Project
a largo plazo.
to the long
¿Quién les
term.
dijo que todo se va a terminar?
Who's told you that
¿Verdad que
everything will
nosotros no
end?
creemos que
We don't
el
think
fuego
that the
consumidor
consuming
va a
fire
destruir todo?
will
No,
destroy
para
everything.
nada.
No, none whatsoever.
Para nada.
None whatsoever.
Relaciones, sí,
Relationships,
estamos en
yes.
esta vida
If
para
we're in this world,
experimentar,
is to
entonces
experience,
busca pareja.
then look for for a
Nada tiene
partner.
sentido.
Nothing makes
Entiendo, y
sense.
si no
I
quieres,
understand.
no
And if
quieres.
you don't want to, you don't want to. I'm not saying
Tenés que buscar
you
pareja,
have to
no
look for a
encontrás.
couple. No, I'm not saying that.
Diciendo,
I'm
si
saying
lo haces,
that
está
if you
bien.
do it,
Si
it's
no lo
fine.
haces,
And if you
está
don't,
bien.
that's fine too.
Lo que te ayude
Whatever helps you
a
to
vivir
live
lleno de luz,
filled with light.
sabiendo lo que es
Knowing
Babilonia,
what Babylon
sabiendo
is,
lo que va a pasar con
knowing
Babilonia,
what will happen with
sabiendo
Babylon,
las
knowing the
profecías,
prophecies,
sabiendo los
knowing
hipócritas que son, sabiendo
what sons
el
of bitches
engaño,
they are,
sabiendo
knowing the
el dragón,
deceit, knowing about the
sabiendo la
dragon,
Biblia,
knowing about the
sabiendo
Bible,
todo,
knowing everything.
enfoca en cosas que te
Focus on
traigan luz.
something, in things that bring you light.
Completo lo
The
tenés.
entire focus is
Yo
there.
te lo di el enfoque.
I gave you the entire focus.
Enfoca
Focus
lo que tengas
what you have
que te dé luz.
that
Sea
gives
lo
you
que
light,
sea,
whatever it
sea
might
una
be,
novia,
whether
sea un
whether it's
novio,
a
sea,
girlfriend, a
un
boyfriend,
pasatiempo,
uh,
sea,
pastime,
un club de fútbol como
a
Boca,
soccer
sea
club like
tenis,
Boca,
sea,
tennis,
una teta, lo que sea.
a tit, whatever.
El resto,
The
que
rest,
te chupe un huevo.
may it
Esa es
suck
mi
a
respuesta.
ball.
Vas a
That is my
cambiar
answer.
todas las cosas, porque si
And
no,
you'll change all things because otherwise we end up
tinieblas.
filled
¿Qué
with
son las
darkness.
tinieblas?
What are the darknesses?
La
Depression.
depresión es más
In the
oscura,
depression,
que
it
ya
is
no queremos
darker
vivir.
that we don't want to
Estamos
live. We're
llenos de
filled
amargura,
with
porque Dios
darkness
no viene.
because God doesn't come. God doesn't fulfill His promises. We have to wait 6 years and then 20, and then what should come didn't come, and we fit, and we're always embittered. No,
Toda esta vida
this whole entire life
te tiene que chupar un
has to suck a ball on you. That is today's message. That's today's message. It's today the most positive message. You won't have one. Super positive. Today is a super positive message. And focus the things in what give you joy. Now,
Quiero que
I
tengas
want you to
este ejercicio.
do this
Estás
exercise.
pasando
If you're going through
problemas.
in bitterness, problems, you have problems with someone,
Empezá a analizar
start to analyze
qué está tu atención.
where your
Cambiar
focus
tu
is
atención.
and change your focus.
Cambiala.
Change it.
Cambiar enfoque.
Change
Si
the
es en tu
focus.
trabajo,
If it's at
si es
work,
con tu familia,
with your
con
family,
tu linaje,
your
con
lineage,
tu esposa,
or
con tu
your
esposo,
wife, or
con
a
tus
husband,
hijos,
or your
con tu
children,
madre,
or
con
your
tu
mother,
padre.
or your
Cambiar
father.
enfoque.
Change the focus.
Estás enfocado
You are
en algo.
focused in
Y eso
something,
algo
and
te trae
that
problemas.
something brings you problems.
Cambiar el enfoque.
Change the
Cambiar
focus.
totalmente el
Change the
enfoque.
focus
Enfócate
completely.
en otra cosa.
Focus something
El
else.
carácter de lo que nombré.
Of the characters that I've mentioned, and you'll see that it all starts to fade away. The great problems that there were. You know why prayer works also?
Yo le digo por qué.
I'll tell you
Porque a
why.
mí me enseñaron así.
Because that's the way they taught me. When you have a problem that you have to solve,
Entonces tienes que pedirle a
then you have to ask Jesus to solve it,
y después te tienes que
and
olvidar
then you have to forget,
que él te va a
because
contestar
He will answer you.
para bien o para
For
o
good,
un sí o un no.
like a yes or a
Más
no,
adelante me
or
decían, o
up
un sí
ahead,
o
they
no,
would say a
espera,
yes or
espera,
no, or
pero
wait,
él te va a
hold on,
responder.
but
Pero
He'll
tienes
answer
que
you.
sacarlo porque
But you have to take
la
it
fe
out,
está en
because
que
the
ya lo
faith
pusiste
is
en las
in
manos
that
de
you've
Jesús.
already left it in the hands of Jesus.
Toda esa pelotudez
All that stupid shit
es lo mismo
is
que yo te
the
diga,
same thing for me to tell you.
ese problema que tenés,
That problem you
enfócate en
have,
otra cosa.
focus it in something else.
Y dejarlo en las manos de
And
otro,
leave it in the
no
hands
de Jesús,
of,
de otro.
not of Jesus, of a different focus. Because you're Jesus.
Vos sos tú, Jesús.
You're your own Jesus.
No tiene que venir un Jesús
Not
para
some
decirte
Jesus has to come
y
along to
salvarte,
tell you and save
y
you.
hacerte de tu vida
and
desaparecer un problema,
Make a problem
que te
disappear of your
conteste
life,
sí o no. Eres tú.
whether the answer is yes or no. It is you. You're Jesus for your life.
Y tú dices,
And you say,
voy a enfocar en otro lado.
I'm going to focus
Y
elsewhere.
desaparece el problema.
And the problem
Así
disappears.
funciona la oración.
That's how
No
prayer
nos damos
works.
cuenta,
We don't
cambiamos
know
el
it is. We
enfoque
would change
a
the
otra
focus
cosa,
to
y
something
pongo
else.
con las manos de Jesús,
I
y
leave
ahora
this
sí,
in
y porque yo sé que
the
me va
hands
a
of
contestar.
Jesus, and
¿Qué
now I
hiciste?
know that He'll answer me. What did you do? You changed the focus.
Solo que a través de un
It's
verso,
just that
mentira,
through
pero
a
cambiaste el
lie,
enfoque.
you changed the
Y si te
focus.
sirvió para eso, está
And it
bien.
helped you for that.
Ahora
That's
yo te
good.
digo cómo funciona.
But now I'm telling you the way it works. You are that
Cambiar el
Jesus,
enfoque. Lo hiciste
and you
antes,
changed the focus. You've
orando a
done it
otros,
before, praying to
diciendo
others,
que él lo iba a
having
cambiar,
faith
lo
that He was going to
cambiaste
change it. You changed it yourself.
decidiste no
You've
preocuparte
decided
por
not
eso.
to worry over
Lo
that.
decidiste
You've
no
decided
preocuparte
that
por
not
eso.
to worry over
Porque lo
that
dejaste en las
because
manos
you
de
left it
Jesús.
in the hands of that
Entonces
Jesus.
ahora
So then
estás
now
feliz porque Jesús,
you're happy because
¿cuántas veces lo
Jesus,
dijiste? Y yo lo dije.
and how many times did I say it?
Peso,
You got
tú
rid of a
estabas
weight upon
pesadumbrado
you,
con
with
pesos en la
weight upon
espalda.
your back, and
Jesús
Jesus took that
sacó eso.
away.
Y ahora
And now
me
He
liberó del
freed
peso
me
que
from the
tenía.
weight that I had on my shoulders.
Te sacó,
He
sacaste el
took
foco
the
porque
focus
lo
out because you
dejaste
left it
sin
without
saberlo.
knowing it.
Lo hiciste todo tú.
You did the whole process
Ahora
yourself.
te
Now
digo
I tell
a qué
you,
se basa. Cambiar
now
foco.
you change the focus. Change the
Cambiarlo
focus
radicalmente.
radically.
Cada vez que venga
Every
el
time the
foco,
focus comes, when you
enfocarte,
focus,
cambiarlo.
change it. Change it.
Pero
Consciously
conscientemente
change it.
cambiarlo.
Change it.
Hacer
Do
otra
something
cosa,
else.
pensar
Think in
otra
something
cosa.
else.
No importa
No
lo
matter
que
what
te hayas
you
pensado
may have
para
thought about to
buscar
look
ese
for that
foco,
focus,
te funcionó
it
siempre mal.
always worked out
Entonces cambiar el
badly.
foco,
Change the focus.
cambiar,
Change it.
cambiar
Change
otra
it to something
cosa.
else.
Y
And
vas
you'll
a ver
see
que tu vida va a
that your
cambiar
life will change
mucho más
a lot more
poderosamente que una
powerfully
oración
than a prayer to Jesus, because you're that
de Jesús
Jesus
que está
that is
actuando.
acting in your
Y
life,
no te
and He
dice,
doesn't
no,
say, "No, hold on."
te dice,
He says,
ahora te
"Now I'll do it.
Ese
That
es
is
tu
your
problema,
that is
lo
your problem.
sacamos de
We'll
la
take it
atención,
out of the focus. Fuck it off to hell.
nos enfocamos en
We
otra
focus on
cosa.
something
Y
else
buscar
and look
cosas
for new
nuevas
things to
para
do.
hacer. Buscar cosas nuevas
Look for
donde
new
enfocarte.
things to do."
Y ese es
That
el
is the
mensaje que
message
tengo
that I
para
have for
hoy,
today.
contestando esa pregunta
Having answered that
maravillosa,
question that is
la
marvelous, the
luz
light
que
that
hay
is
en ti,
in you, which is your consciousness,
tú eres el
you're the only one
que trae a tu
that
vida
brings
luz o
to your life light or darkness. It could be dense darkness of depression
o una luz
or an abundant
abundante que
light
la
that the
gente
people
diga,
may say,
"¿Por qué este
"Why does this son of a bitch, why is he always happy?"
La
Tell the
verdad,
truth.
con todos los
With
problemas
all
que
the
pasan
problems
en
that
este
happen in this
lugar,
problem,
y este
and this
está
guy's always
sonriendo y
smiling
chupa un
and he
huevo,
can
y
suck a
decir,
ball.
"A mí
And it says,
me chupa un
to
huevo".
me, he can suck a ball.
Salmo
Psalms
78,
78, 1 through 2. Hear,
Escucha,
O my
pueblo
people,
mío,
my
mi
teaching.
enseñanza. Y hoy
And
mi
today, my
enseñanza
teaching
sí
has been,
me chupa
it
un
can
huevo.
suck a ball of mine.
Presten atención
Pay attention
y oído a
and
las
ear
palabras
unto
de
the
mi
words of my
boca,
mouth,
que voy
which
a
I
abrir
will
la
open my
boca
mouth
pronunciando
pronouncing sentences,
dejando brotar
allowing
viejas
old
adivinanzas. Y exactamente eso fue lo que
guessings
te
to
enseñé.
be
A
taught. That is
cambiar
exactly what
el
I've taught you, to
foco,
change the focus and to
concentrarlo
concentrate it
donde tú
wherever you
quieras.
want.
Nosotros
We
somos
are those crazies.
Lo
Do you
saben
know it,
ustedes,
my
mis
friends?
amigos. Somos locos
We are
porque
crazy because we
pensamos
think
que hay
that there
una
is
justicia
an eternal
eterna
justice
que
that is
llamar
called
a
to
gobernar
rule
el
the world.
Por eso
That is why
somos
we are
locos,
crazy,
sí.
yes.
Y si
And if
por eso somos
because of that we're
locos,
crazy,
me
I
siento
am filled
orgulloso
with
de ser loco.
pride to be crazy in that way.
Yo me
I
ennoblezco
become ennobled
con la
with the
locura de
craziness, the insanity of believing how I
que un
believe that
sepulcro
a
está
sepulchre
cavado ya
is
para
already
nuestros
dug up for our
gigantes,
tyrants,
que la libertad
that
es,
liberty cometh,
que el reinado del
that
pueblo
the reign
ya
of
se
the people
acerca,
draweth
una
nigh,
grande
that a great
época
epoch will
a
begin.
comenzar. Y siempre que
And
enseño
every
estas
time I
cosas,
teach
esta
these things,
canción
this song
toma otro
takes
sentido.
another sense. You have to listen to it.
Siempre
Always
dándole
giving it
el foco en
the
otro lado.
focus somewhere else.
Nace
A
una
flower
flor
is born
todos los
all
días.
every day the sun comes out.
De vez
Every
en
now and
cuando
then
escucha
you hear that voice
como de pan
as
gustadas
of a
ricas
delicious bread, delicious to
los
sing
aleros de la mente
in
con las
the
pero a la vez
balconies of the mind with the cicadas, but in turn a transformer exists that consumes the best that you have.
te
He
tira
throws you
atrás
back,
y
he
quiere
asks
más
for more
y
and
más,
more,
y llega
and there
un
comes a
punto
point in which you no longer want.
y ese
And that
transformador
transformer
es
is the
el foco
focus in which you
de atención
place your attention,
y se come
and he
todo.
eats everything of yours.
Mama
Suck at the liberty's breast.
siempre
You will always carry her within the heart.
te pueden
They may corrupt you, you may forget, but she is always there. You are the one that focuses
lo que
whatever you want.
y si
And if you
enfocas
focus
la
slavery,
vas a vivir en
you'll live in slavery. If you focus liberty, you'll live in liberty.
ella
She's
siempre
always there.
¿de dónde
It is where you focus.
ayer
Yesterday I had a dream
con los
with the hungry, the crazies. Those who left, those are in prison. Today I awoke singing this song, which has been written some time ago. And it is necessary to sing it again one more time. It is necessary to refocus everything again. Because your focus and your concentration, you handle it yourself. The destiny is written. The end is inevitable. That is why it all must suck a ball. God, the true God, is Argentinian. Let's go the eternal truth, Semper Fi, before Semper Fi. Let's go the eternal truth. May everything suck a ball on you. And learn to repeat what comes out of the heart. Of course, in the comments, in your life, when you have a problem, say, it can suck a ball on mine. And you'll see how it'll start to suck a ball of yours. It's like saying, I could give a fuck, but it's a nicer expression. It can suck a ball of mine. Let the laurels be eternal that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory, let us live. Or we swear, with glory to die. And if not, it can suck a ball. Everything can suck a ball of mine. Hallelujah to every one of you. Don't forget to give us a like, to comment this video. And we shall meet again next Shabbat. Today you've had a brutal teaching. Maybe you have not assimilated it and you haven't chewed on it yet. But you have the power of focusing what you want. Hallelujah to every one of you.